All right, and we are live. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Monster Hunter World Iceborne live stream. We're on the PlayStation, and it is No Scatternut November. How's it going, everyone? As usual, I do take a minute before I actually unmute my mic to update all. I'm streaming on multiple platforms now. I'm using some new software. So maybe what I need is like a stream starting in 10 minutes countdown timer or something like that. So really it's not 10 minutes. It's like 3 minutes, isn't it? It takes me about 3 minutes to get it going. So I might have to take a minute and figure out how to make one of those, like a countdown timer, so that you know I'm going live. All right, so we're on the PlayStation. The last thing I remember doing is we did the Hunter Helper program for Capcom, and we did that Tuesday? Yeah, we did that Tuesday. I don't even think we got the pendant. There were all kinds of connection issues going on, so it was kind of it's a little bit of a fiasco. But the goal of this character is to max out our longsword builds, max out our bow builds, our dual blade builds, and any others? Those are the main ones. It's going to be in my account for longsword, dual blade, and bow. All the weebish weapons, right? And I think we were grinding in the guiding lands, and we needed to... oh, I remember now. We needed to reach Master Rank 70. So that's our goal. We need to reach Master Rank 70. And I think the guiding lands are already maxed out, aren't they? Let's go over here. We're going to go to the guiding lands. Alright, let's see what our levels are at. There it is. So you can see we're already at level 5 for both the Forest region and the Wildspire Waste, which means what we have left to do is level up our character. And if we level up our character, we should be working on unlocking very important pieces of equipment. All right, how's it going, everyone? Brent says, thanks for the videos and the effort. We appreciate you. No problem, man. I appreciate you too. Big Nuts has joined the session. Have you? Fan says, how's it going, Finn? He says, you don't have to do No Nut November if you rip November from your calendar. Aha, it's a trick. You mean No Scatternut. That's what you mean. No Scatternut November. Remember Discord notifications. Yes, I believe I did that. Yes, I did. Thanks for the reminder, though. Oops, hold on. Error. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. What? It better be receiving enough information. Let's see if there's anything I can close. I'm going to close down Discord. How about that? That might help up a little bit. What would you call it? Bandwidth or something? I don't know how it would actually affect my bandwidth if I'm... well, I think it's not your bandwidth, is it? So when your computer is using up a lot of processing power, it's not actually able to utilize the internet as well. So it's not a bandwidth issue. When you close software on your computer, when you're trying to get a faster upload speed, it's just you trying to get your computer faster. No thumbnail, says Ghost Ninja. Yeah, so you guys told me that was the case last time. The way this software is working is I'm having to upload the thumbnail afterwards, and it looks like it doesn't get updated by YouTube until a little while into the stream. So I just don't know how to get around that at this point. Yeah, so on my screen there actually is a thumbnail. Yeah, there's a thumbnail on my screen. Oh, we'll save this as well. All right, close this back down. Yeah, I don't know how to get that working differently. If it ends up not being valuable enough for me to multi-stream, I'll probably just go back to doing exclusively YouTube. Ripunjaya says, till what time do you plan to stream today? We could stream for about 3 hours, probably. Probably about 3. Fan says, the Resident Evil collab should be on the 7th, which is next week. Wow, that's coming fast. I didn't think it would be arriving so quickly. Cole says it is bandwidth, just not on your network card. Ah. Brian says, hey, Gameconomist, can you say, hey, Mariah, you're a brat. Is it Mariah or Maria? It's probably Mariah because of the H. Mariah, you're a brat. Trent says, cool, thanks. Are you able to fight Gold Raytheon yet? No, not until we reach Master Rank 70. Please, thank you. Hunt Savage Devil Joe Taro? All right, let's see who's in the session. So, whoa, session's filling up fast. Nice. Alright, so I think what we were doing, we were working on the charms. Let's go make sure all our charms are up to date, or our wish list. Let's jump over to the wish list. Ah, yes, it is. So we have the Friendship Charm, which requires a Guiding Force Crystal. Ironside, which requires Uragon Pallium. It's not really important for me on this account, honestly. Windproof. Not really too important either, is it? Blaze is actually important. So I need an aqua core ore for the Blaze Charm. What's an Aqua Core ore? Let me look that up. You guys tell me if you know. Aqua Core ore. Monster Hunter World Wiki says a valuable mineral. Where does it come from? Is this a low rank? Oh, this is very low level stuff. So we're going to head off to the Coral Highlands on low rank. Jump over to low rank. Coral Highlands. Ooh, hiccups. Albina says Aqua ore is high rank coral. It's odd, because the wiki says low rank. Oh, you can get it from either low or high, according to the wiki. ShadowCon says, just fought my first gold Raytheon in the Guiding Lands, moving up in the Warudo Boys? What? How's it going, Tristan? Shout out, please, huh? Man, these are some long load times, even for the low rank. Quite a late stream today. Yeah, my stream schedule's been all over the place. I've been thinking more and more about getting stricter about my live stream timing. You know, I'm trying so hard to get these videos made so that I have videos and live streams, but the reality is the live streams perform pretty well. The live streams are doing a really good job, and I'm thinking maybe I'm doing it wrong. Maybe I should be prioritizing the live streams and worrying about the videos later. So I'm wearing pants right now. Why the heck would I wear pants? I should go grab some shorts. Pants are too hot. You wear pants when you go outside. You don't wear pants in the house. What am I doing? What is the session ID? The session ID can be found right here. Screenshot this number. All right, go ahead and screenshot that. And I'm closing it now. You can also find it at the beginning of the stream or in the Discord server. So let's see. Where do we know that we can find ore? I know there actually is some ore this way. Yes, not bother. Let's go the other direction, I think. Just be naked? I don't think so. How's it going, Tristan? He says, I watch you every day. Hey, I appreciate that a lot, actually. Keeping the dream alive. Whoop, there we go. How's it going, Obliter? I think his name is Obliter. Iron ore, iron ore. Aqua Core ore. We are done. Should we try to get one more? One more Aqua Core ore. It's this hat. Dr. Seuss. Cat in the Hat over here. Look at these. Shamos. Oh, you know what? We're going to head back. That's good enough for me. Also, while it's loading, I'm actually going to go grab some pants. I'm sorry, not some pants, some shorts. I'll be right back. My bad. It wasn't actually loading. I got pants now, and I got a drink now. Everything is all set up. Victor says, what Pokemon do you buy, Sword or Shield? I don't know, man. What do you guys think? I'm leaning towards Sword, actually. I like defensive Pokemon, so you would think I'd go with Shield, but I'm just thinking I'll do the opposite of that. Pokemon Charge Blade. Wow. Cole says, I think you should prioritize the stream, seeing as there isn't as much content to make videos around that aren't also covered in the live streams. You could do stream recap videos. Yeah, like stream highlights, basically. I've been thinking about that too. I have been thinking about that too. Cole says, I think you should prioritize the... Oh, he just said that. He repasted it. Yeah, I've been leaning toward the idea, Cole, that what I should do is have a consistent stream time, move the streams from 2 hours to being something like 4 hours, and then after the stream is over, pick out like a 5 to 10 minute clip from that stream, probably the best clip I can find, and then simply upload that clip to my channel. So I've been thinking about that a lot. Arclight says, ever considered doing a Nuzlocke channel of your own? Also, hi everyone. Now, oh right, Nuzlocke is when you run through with specific rules, right? Yeah, I've thought about it. I've definitely thought about it. I've been thinking a lot about how to, I don't know, like how to take my channel to the next level, right? Like we're going to break 100,000 subscribers. And one thing I don't want to do is just keep doing the same thing every day over and over and over again. Not because I don't enjoy what I'm doing, but because I want to do that and more, I guess. Like I want to like evolve or something, you know, like take the channel to the next level. But I don't really know what that entails. It's complicated. You know, if everyone knew what to do next, then I don't know, everyone would just do it. So it's complicated. You kind of have to like decide what's best for your channel. So we're going to upgrade... Wait, are we going to upgrade anything, or are we simply forging? Are we building level 1? Blaze Charm 1. Okay, we're building Blaze Charm 1. Fan says, do the one that got the Sir Farfetch. Easy, right? I feel way better in shorts. Shorts are the best. Here we are. We'll go ahead and upgrade this. Oh, that's not right. Here we are. Nice. We had everything we needed for level 2, level 3. Level 4, we need Flickering Flame Pelt. What do you suppose that is? That sounds far less stressful for you and your editor, and you can focus more on 1 to 2 things rather than having a bunch of different series. Yeah, I push myself really hard and try to make it complicated and interesting, but also I feel like what I'm not liking about my current situation is that my live stream timings have gotten inconsistent. I think consistency is really important because it kind of signals to other streamers like, okay, here's his hour, maybe I'll set mine up after his or before his, whereas if I'm streaming all over the daytime, nobody really knows when I'm going to stream, so they can't avoid me, and not to mention my audience doesn't really know when to expect me so that they can tune in. So yeah, if I simply knew the exact best time to start my live stream for the majority of my audience, I'd probably just pick that time and stick to it and just be like, this is going to happen every day, and set like an alarm and everything, you know what I mean? Kind of like a job almost. You know, what was cool about YouTube is that you could just do it whenever you wanted to do it. But with the live streaming, you know, if you set up like a consistent daily live stream time, you better be there, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like you guys, I'm clocking in. I'm going to be there. Yeah, that freedom of not having a schedule, but you kind of give it up if you're going to do a live stream schedule. But I mean, you know, I really enjoy entertaining you guys. It actually doesn't bother me at all. So I held a lot of normal jobs. This is still way more flexible than a normal job. Let's see. We just built the Blaze Charm, and we want to know what part we need to upgrade it to Blaze Charm 4. Flickering Flame Pelt. Check materials. This is a Guiding Lands Anjanath material. Nice. Okay, let's move on then, because we're not going to go into the Guiding Lands yet. Flood Charm. We need a Gyrototus Fang and an Aquacore Ore. Just like before. Oh, God. This is basically going to be me working on the charms. Oh, not the training area. Come on. Chimera Chick says, "Hey Gameconomist, love the random Pokemon unboxing video. You're even more fantastic. Keep up the good work." Hey, I'm glad that you liked that. Yeah, I sold some Pokemon cards too just a little while ago. somebody stopped in and he was like, hey, do you got some nice cards for me? And I got him a nice collection of some of my best cards, some of my best looking cards, and I sold it to him at a really nice price. So I'm happy to help people. You know, there's some people who are getting back into collecting after seeing those videos, and I'm happy to help them with that. Taryn says, still don't have enough critical boost decorations. Sad. That's right. Java says you should do a poll then of the time zones people are in. Well, it's not just about time zones. It's about when are you in school, when are you at work. So if I just knew the peak times of the day to live stream, I would probably just pick. I'm thinking about doing this and just making it part of my content strategy. I'm just going to say, look, the live streams are exactly at this time every day. You can just show up to YouTube at that time and I'll be on. And just do one live stream and have it be a longer live stream, probably. What are we doing? We're grabbing more Aqua Core ore. Brian says, where are your viewers? What, you mean like for this live stream? Usually I have to build them up. Like when we start the stream, how far are we? We're only 18 minutes in. So usually it takes about a half an hour to an hour before we really start rolling. So it usually takes a little while. And that's part of the problem is people kind of have to discover that I've gone live. So I think that's part of the struggle. People have to know I'm actually live. Chimera Chick, or is it Chimera Chick? I don't know how to pronounce it. She says, that seems fine. For sure, man. Rainbow Misazune says, hi, I am me. Can you check my build and tell me what you think? Since you asked. Enduring Surrender. So dragon damage build. First thing I noticed, you don't have white sharpness when you really ought to have white sharpness, probably. Garuga Males, is that earplugs build? Ooh. So what I would do is I would definitely take the Silver Rathalos chest, and then in the leg slot, I would go Garuga. So you'd want Garuga Greaves in the leg slot. So yeah, I'd swap that up. Make sure you need all 6 levels of that dragon attack too. Make sure you're not hitting the cap at level 5. Constitution, I would go Marathon Runner, not Constitution. And that last level of Crit Eye is like 10% affinity. Make sure you pick up the last level of Crit Eye. It's too good to skip. Alright, hope that helped. Let's go get that Aqua Core ore. Cephalopod God says, I'm still farming for the build I want to put up in Build Review. Build Review. That's going to be the new series on the Xbox. Because we are moved past the point of... We're past the point of needing to break out of the story and this and that, right? We have solid builds. We're at a point where we're like... We're having prosperity on the Xbox. How about that? That's a good way to describe it. We're good. We're set on the Xbox. We're good to go. But... on the PlayStation, we still need to get through the story. We still need to get to Master Rank 200 or whatever the number is. And we'll continue the Hey Partner. We'll continue that series until then. Got to do the handler voice. Build Review. That's right. In order to do Build Review, you just have to know everything. Isn't that easy? I learn a lot from you guys. You guys share information, you know, in the middle of these live streams. You'll mention something and I'll be like, And then I'll go look it up at the end of the live stream and I'll be like, oh, that was actually an accurate thing to say. And I'll be like, I learned something today. It's like Sesame Street. All right, we grabbed some Aqua Core ore. Why don't we just go ahead and head back? Build Review. Clap, clap. PC Iceborne will be getting something exclusive. I just don't know what. Didn't bother finding out because I didn't do PC gaming. What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. You're going to buy that real gold and silver Rathalos figure that cost 150k? Then definitely I will not be doing that. Shadow Khan says, in fighting that GOPD Raytheon, gold Raytheon dropped my Coral and Force down. Frick! That sucks, man. I just got Master Rank 70 today, and I got Iceborne the week after it came out. The grind never ends. There's a lot of grinding. What Master Rank do you need to do the Resident Evil quests? I don't know. That's a good question. I imagine they don't hold it off from you too much. I mean, it's going to probably be a permanent addition to the game. Let me get a student loan. Gonna be studying Monster Hunter. Don't worry, later on you can get student loan debt forgiveness. Best part of Monster Hunter, the grind. That's right. Do you feel Cove weapons are necessary or not? Do I feel Cove weapons are necessary or not? They're not necessary. No, not at all. There's actually a lot of meta weapons in the base game that are not Cove Taroth weapons. The Cove Taroth weapons generally do have a lot of meta options, but it's not like you have no base game options. For example, you could build rather than having the Sleep Hammer, you could build the Devil Joe Hammer or the Diablos Hammer. Both of those are actually very strong. So you've got other options. Some weapon classes were really affected by Cove Taroth, though, like, for example, the Dual Blades. Dual Blade Cove Taroth weapons are really nice, so you're just not going to get a better option in that case. But you don't have to use Dual Blades. Okay, let's go build this Water Charm, level 1. Fan says, you're selling a pair of Gold Wrath and Silver Wrath that are making out... Oh, I see. They're selling a pair of Gold Rathian and Silver Rathalos that are made out of actual gold and silver that cost 150. Only 150k? Most of that's going to be the gold, by the way. It's not going to be the silver. Silver's pretty cheap, actually. Gold's crazy expensive. If it's real gold, it's very expensive. Forge equipment. Yeah. Silver compared to gold. We're going for the Water Charm, right? Flood Charm. Oh, we need the Gyrototus Fang. Alright, let's go ahead and post Gyrototus. You know what I wish they had? I wish they had the board right out here. See, I'd love the board right out here like it would be in the... what is it called? Celiana? Not Celiana. Astera, there we go. Post quest. Low rank. Optional. He's not in here. Is he in number 2? Nope. 3 then. Here he is. The Pi sign problem. Let's go grab a Fang. Gold Rathian is the Alpha Wayman. She's more expensive than silver. Silver and gold. You guys ready for that? Christmas is around the just around the corner. Do 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 do. Scooby doo 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 doo. Chimera Chick says, "Oh, I've been watching some awesome videos of old Monster Hunter boss monsters. Seems like so many that would be amazing if updated for this." Right? They got a lot of monsters. The Silver Rathalos are made out of platinum. Oh. Well, that's kind of cheating. It's more like Platinum Rathalos then. Platinum's kind of expensive in its own way, but I don't think it's as expensive as silver, though. Are you sure the gold's not like gold plating, too? Is it a solid chunk of gold? If so, that's nuts, depending on the size of the statue. Zachariah says it's high rank Totus, right? For Fang Plus. Oh, do we need Fang Plus? Hold on. I don't think we need Fang Plus. Oh, see, we need regular Fang. So I'm pretty sure that's low rank. Chimera Chick says, I'm ready for January, so I could get Iceborne on PC. I think a lot of PC players are excited for that. I'm excited for that. I want to see Iceborne in 60 FPS. 60 FPS. How's it going, Wild Manga? Pepe Hands? Imagine reading fans' comment copying me instead of my original? What? Solid gold would be really soft. That would suck. No, it wouldn't be too bad. I mean, as long as you're not, like, dropping it, don't drop it. If you're going to pay $150,000 for it, $150,000 for it, I'm sure you can buy a case for it as well. Excuse me. How's it going, David? 60 FPS. Do you have 60 FPS? I have 60 FPS. How's it going, noobs, for breakfast? I want to play Iceborne in 60 FPS fighting with Pepe Hands. That's right. 60 FPS and you get Pepe Hands. Both of those things. Don't have PlayStation Plus. Diablos Impossible. Okay, here we are. Oh, we're just going to run right over to him. Did you see the new Fatalis model? I saw him. It definitely seemed like they were hinting he's coming... Oh, what the hell? I did not mean to do that. It definitely felt like they were hinting that he's coming to Iceborne Fatalis. That's not confirmation that he is, though. It could have just been an artist doing 3D animation. But yeah, he looked pretty good, so you never know. You never know. The best part about PC on Iceborne, decent load times. That is yet to be known. Obviously, if you have a really strong computer, it is going to have a good load time. But I pretty exclusively play multiplayer, so the question is, how good of a computer do you need to have for good load times? And will the majority of people have that high of a quality computer? But you're right. You know what? Just the single player load times, if you could get that to be fast, that's going to be nice. Gotta fight like crap versus this guy. Oh, look at this. Oop. Wow. That was pretty fast. There's a Finn. Do you play Fortnite? Hey, Gameconomist, do you play Fortnite? No, I do not. Noctis Lucis Calum says an SSD is enough for good loading times. It took like 15 seconds to get back from a quest. Yeah, hopefully. What I remember is I remember playing the base game on the PC and noticing that the load times were roughly the same as the console. But maybe that's my PC in particular. How would you react if they revealed cross-platforming for World? I would be very excited, because then we could all play together, and me owning 3 consoles would be pointless. Basically, I'd just play with my one character. I wouldn't have 2 characters. I really hope Elytron comes to World. Would be nice to have a decent dragon elemental sword and shield. If Fatalis isn't coming to Iceborne, I will be pissed. We need Hot Fish Remake. Load times are influenced by the speed of the drive, not the power of the CPU or the GPU. Alright, here we are. Our materials. That took a whole minute 29 seconds, which was mostly probably just spent with us running over. No Scatternet November is upon us. What do you have the game saved on? HDD or SSD? That's a good question. I don't actually know. I've never looked it up on my PC. Presumably SSD. Hannah Carson says, I really want a Cantor to come back so I can get an actually decent greatsword. Wow, listen to these trash talkers. They're like, if I could have an actually decent greatsword, that would be great. Fatalis with that long tongue. Oh, yeah, I thought that was kind of gross. He was like, you know, like licking his teeth. And it just seems like kind of this unnatural thing to be doing. Like, what are you doing, man? So animals don't really act that way. I mean, unless they're literally grooming themselves. But he looked more like, take a look at me. I do weird things with my tongue. That's what Goth Kid at Hot Topic does. Let's see it. Forge equipment. Charms. Show me the water. Water charm. That's water resistance. Here's water attack. Flood charm. Okay, now we're going to choose... Oh. God damn it. Upgrade equipment. There we go. Oh, no. We don't have any of the Flood Charm 2 equipment. Really? I guess I don't have any high-rank Gyrototus. That's crazy. I've never fought high-rank Gyrototus. Let's go ahead and post high-rank Gyrototus. I'm guessing that's high-rank Gyrototus. Have I really never fought high-rank Gyrototus? I'm just guessing that's what the parts are, because normally it goes low rank, high rank when it comes to pieces that you need. Oh no. That is probably exactly the problem here. So I've never fought high rank Gyrototus because I've never had to. I don't suppose anyone has a high rank Gyrototus. I don't know why anyone would be saving that. High rank, let's go by target. No one's going to have this. Nobody cares about Gyrototus. No flares found. Ooh. Well, expedition it is then. That's all you can do, really. Yeah, grab this Radiant Flow loadout. Darn it. Because you were afraid to fight him. Yeah, that's the reason. I was afraid to get bored fighting him. Alright. Wildspire Waste. He's not there. So let's travel to the Rotten Vale, and what'll happen is the monsters will rotate. I might join the session. Is the group full in your session? Is probably full? I don't know. Cole says, what about an investigation? I definitely do not have a high-ranked Gyrototus investigation. I mean, why would I? I've never even fought him before. It's just, there's no way I would have had that investigation. The odds of it being in there are probably very small. 20 million people already failed No Nut November. You mean No Scatter Nut November. Say it right. Maybe we should call it Blastnut. Weird how Lavasiath was the least hunted monster. Last appreciation event. Why not this dirty fish? I think people would rather fight Gyrototus compared to Lavasiath. Lavasiath, you really have to go out of your way to fight Lavasiath. They even showed him after the Iceborne section. That's such a tease. Oh, you're right. He's not actually in Iceborne, but then they showed him last. Yeah, that's a tease. That's definitely a tease. You are so right. Okay, we're going to jump over here. Gyrototus is now in the Wildspire Waste. He is on an expedition. We'll go smack him up and carve his parts and probably not get an investigation from it. Can't you get an investigation from Prince? Who's a Prince? Blastnut has a better ring to it. I agree. Let's go with Blastnut November. I agree, actually. We're going to call this No Blastnut November. There we go. We're going to save that. I agree. It should have been Blastnut from the start. Imagine they drop Fatalis as the monster in December. Well, my suspicion has been that we're getting a siege monster next. So they've given us Rei Zhang. He's the equivalent of Devil Joe, right? And if they were following the same pattern they followed for the base game, and it seems that's what they do, excuse me, then the next monster would definitely be a siege monster. Yeah. Hashtag Blastnut November. No Blastnut November. Hannah Carson says, yeah, out of all the god tier Elder Dragons not in Iceborne, which one would be your favorite? Arch-tempered Black Dragon Zenejiva. Where's our Black Dragon adult Zenejiva? I bet you we're going to see him. Somebody tell me we're not going to see an adult Zenejiva. Come on. I think I heard someone claim that he already was an adult, which is why he was coming out of a cocoon. But, as you know, when bugs actually come out of a cocoon, they're all crinkled up and weird, and they're like not fully formed, right? That's what happens, because the bug just came out, you know, the blood hasn't flowed to, it literally needs to harden up, right? That's how bugs come out of their shells. They come out very soft and easy to, it's a very dangerous time for them, actually, because they typically can't fly, they typically can't do much. So a Zenejiva who's been out of the cocoon for a while would definitely have a stiffer, more rigid body because he's just been out of the shell for a while. You know what I mean? Black Dragon Zenejiva is happening. Can we talk that Dire, Morales, and Elatrion actually got arts in the video? Let's smack this. Oh! Gyrototus, you're so boring. Please let this hit. It doesn't hit! They so nerfed the roundhouse slash. Or whatever it's called. Let's see what it's called. It's called... Oh, I missed it. I didn't see what it was called. Spirit Round Slash. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Ooh, that almost didn't land. Come on, buddy. Come on, you know you want to die. Come on. I was comparing the lance to the longsword in a video I released on my channel. It's like a 30-minute long video too. It's funny because I just talked and I talked and I talked, and it's funny because I think I upset a lot of people for comparing the lance and the longsword to each other. They're like, they're not the same. They're not like each other at all. It's kind of funny upsetting people about that kind of stuff sometimes. Controversial opinions. Downvote. I think they're actually very similar. Trying to decide whether to keep that series going. Takes a long time to make those videos. Could just go back to doing builds. Slade! There we go. Alright, let's go ahead and gather from his dead body. Do you know that you can use the regular EI slash as a counter too? What? I didn't know that. No, I didn't. You should explain. Well, Among Us says, use the slinger a shot mid-combo so you don't miss your last hit. Does it actually... I don't understand. Does it actually increase the range of your roundhouse slash, though? Or your spirit round slash? There we go. Spirit round slash. I gotta get the name right. Spirit round slash. So if I say it wrong now, I'm going to get it wrong later. What is the session? I can't find it in the Discord. It's in the Discord. Go to the Session ID chat channel. Yeah, if you go to Session ID chat channel, my post is in there. That's where it'll be. So we've got this. Let's go ahead. I want to try this out. Let's see if it actually extends the range. All right, so here we go. 1. No, it doesn't increase your range. It just allows you to you can delay longer, but your range is essentially the same. So let's head on back. We probably don't have enough parts still, but we'll see. Yeah, Wallace says no, but you can delay the hit so that the monster gets closer. Yeah, that's understandable. If the monster doesn't get closer, though, what you've really done is you've just kind of wasted even more time, though, if you think of it that way, right? So let's say you delay it, and the monster doesn't get closer, then you could have already started up your next combo, but instead you're recovering, you know what I mean? It's the same timing as the EI Spirit Slash, so you can use either depending on your liking. I did not know that, fan. I thought that the EI regular slash was just a, was just a regular attack. So what's the bonus if you iframe through the monster's attack with the EI regular slash, whatever it's called, EI slash? Yeah, what's the bonus? Gaming Enthusiast says, how do you get the helper pendants? By helping hunters in low rank and high rank if they have not entered Iceborne. Aramis Rivero says, everybody talking Fatalis, Elytrion, and at the end we get Disufero, I don't know what it is. Disufero, I don't know what you're talking about. Zachariah Turner says, I like the premise of the Versus series, but I feel like it's more suited for base game, like a fantastic breakdown of similar choices for new players. It is for new players, yeah. That's specifically who it's for. It's for players who don't know which weapon they want to use. So you make a comparison of the two weapons, and this allows them to make a choice. Let's go ahead and get more mushrooms. The bonus is that you don't get knocked back and you actually get the attack off. That's a good bonus. That's fine. Yeah, that's actually fine. And Zector says the regaining gauge buff lasts longer. Oh, okay. So let's see. Let's go ahead and forge equipment. Charmer, we're going for the water charm. Windproof. Flood charm. Oh, we're upgrading the flood charm. Oh, look at that. We got just enough to get to the next level. Fantastic. Now what? a Val gem, and a torrent sack. Where the frick do I get a torrent sack from? Hazard Gaming, he says, snack fund. Actually, right now the fund is called Cold Shower because we're trying not to Blastnut, right? So, thank you for that. Is that Canadian dollars? From Hazard Gaming. Thank you very much, man. No Blastnut November. Oops, hold on. So we should be able to obtain the gem from Valhazak very quickly by simply trading for it. Oh, Australia, duh. A. A for Australian, probably? Maybe not. We should be able to obtain a Val gem right here. Yep. We got 10 of these gold Wyverian prints. We're good on that. Did someone say Canadian? CA is Canada. Got it. Okay. So Australian dollar, Canadian dollar. The torrent sack, though. Let's find out where that's coming from. Oop. Nope, nope, nope. It doesn't tell you, actually, huh? Doesn't actually tell you. Torrent sack. Dude, torrent sack could take a while to earn, I'm suspecting. Alright, I'm looking it up. And it comes from Gyrototus. Which is why I don't have any of them, because I don't fight Gyrototus. So, Fatalis says water monster. Well, the wiki says just Gyrototus. It doesn't name anyone else. Okay, there's a gold Wyverian print. I messed up gold shower. Gotta stop that nut. And he donated $6.90. Thank you again, Hazard Gaming. I'll change this to 5 plus. Let's see if I can type here $6.90, so that people can appreciate your effort here. Trent says I'll post. All right, let me just check to see if I have anything. I guess not. Oops, not reward money. Oh, wait a second. Oh, those are all master rank. But take a look over here. I actually do have some Gyrototus. I'll grab this one just for now. That's a high rank Gyrototus. Up your waist and waist. Alright, he saw me. He saw me picking up those quests. So we are definitely going to post. No. What am I doing? Post quest. Oh, I see. Low rank. Investigations. Do I still have all these? I'm confused now. So we'll go with this one. And if you guys pick up a real good Gyrototus quest, let me know. Like, tell me. And then we'll do those instead. The Argosy, if a good way to get all of the master rank sacks and odd bits you might need in the future. That's right. Let's check and see if we got the Argosy has returned or not. Yeah, the Argosy usually has like torrent sacks and stuff like that. I just haven't paid attention to them enough, probably. Remember, this account is actually still pretty young. I really got through everything very quickly. So I'm going through the same challenges that maybe a brand new player would be having, and if you were watching this, then you would probably be learning a lot right now. Somebody said they deleted their high rank investigations. Yeah. We'll grab this real fast. We could probably split up into 2 teams and get these monsters dead real fast, or we could just focus on one at a time. Brian says, hey, Gameconomist, let me make your booty clap clap. What? Better not. Hoop says, recommend a heavy bowgun with good slicing. Tried Kadashi Line 2, but not digging it. The best slice ammo heavy bowgun is going to be the Styx heavy bowgun because it has built-in spare shot. So that's a really good bowgun still. The problem with it, though, is I don't really feel like slice does enough damage. So the first question you might ask yourself is, why am I using slice ammo? That's why I would say consider not using slice ammo. Slicing is popo. Don't use it. That's right. Fan is correct. It is a poo-poo in the pee-pees. Disu Firo is a frontier black dragon, Japanese exclusive. That's why I can't say the name. No, I'm just kidding. Why you're using a slice, just use an actual cutting weapon. Well, there was reasons to use a slice ammo in the past. You know, like with Behemoth, you could cut his tail off for the team. That was nice. But there's really no reason in the base game, in my opinion. Really no reason. Slice is backup for sticky. Oh, right. Another time you would use it is versus Kolv Taroth, right? You'd use it versus Kolv Taroth because you used a light bowgun. Uh-oh. You used a light bowgun on Kolv Taroth in stages 1, 2, and 3, thunder ammo. And then rather than going back to camp and swapping, you would just use your slice ammo to finish her off in stage 4. So that was another time you used slice ammo in the base game. But in the master rank, there's not really a reason to use it as so far. We can't see a reason. Do you have merch? Would love to support your channel. I kind of have merch. You know, I sell Pokemon cards. What I could do is I could offer like a standard signed Pokemon card. Yeah, I have a whole bunch of Shuckles. I could probably offer those signed for you if you wanted. Signed and in a plastic case or something like that. Other than that, I don't have any like t-shirts. There's all these companies that want me to, like Streamlabs wants me to sell merch from Streamlabs. YouTube wants me to sell shirts from YouTube. Like they offer for me to send in a design and then they take care of everything and then they offer the shirt. But I'm almost certain it's probably going to be a big ripoff. I'm sure they're probably charging you a ton of money for that, like that you don't realize. So if the production of the shirt is actually $1 and they're going to sell it for, let's say $35 because it's got a logo on it, right? $35 for a shirt with the logo on it. You're losing $34 or they're gaining $34 in that sale. And probably, if I had to guess based on my experience with what these companies do, I'm going to guess I get about, as the creator, probably $10 to $15 of that profit. So I've just been avoiding selling t-shirts because I don't know. I'd have to have a situation where I'm really satisfied with everything. I don't like to spend money on logos myself. I like to buy plain t-shirts. I thought about actually doing some maybe like fashion design on a t-shirt. I never saw myself having to think about something like that. I'm the opposite of a fashionista. But I've never had to ask myself like, what would I actually design if I had to design something? And the truth is, just having a logo on a shirt is probably the easiest thing you could do, and people will probably buy it just because they want to support you. But I've never valued just having a logo on a shirt. I've never valued that. And for me, clothing that just looks very nice is usually what I will spend money on if I'm going to spend money on clothing, you know? So imagine like your best Sunday outfit. Well, your Sunday outfit isn't good because it has a logo on it. It's good because, you know, you dressed up nice. See what I'm saying? And that's something that you would spend money on. Or imagine an outfit you would take to a job interview. The job interview outfit isn't nice because of the logo. There's almost never a logo on your outfit that you use for the interview. It's just a nice, high quality piece of clothing. And that's why I have trouble selling things I don't believe in. You know what I'll sell you? I'll sell you energy drinks. I'll sell you those all day. Yeah, I'll sell you energy drinks, but I don't have any like deals with the energy drink company or anything like that. I probably should get myself into one. Just get shirts, says Trent. If you cap the fish, you have better odds for the torrent sack. Oh, I didn't know that. Is that true? I'll keep that in mind. Lunar says, well, are there better ways I can support you? You're one of the best content creators, and I don't feel just donating would be enough. Actually, you know, if you want to really help, just giving like $1 in Patreon is enough, believe it or not. And the reason why is because I do really believe in crowdfunding. I'm approaching 100,000 subscribers. If just 1,000 of you, just not a lot, by the way, compared to the amount of daily views I get, I'm picking up like somewhere between 45 to 100,000 views a day. So if 1,000 people were to donate just $1, it would have almost no impact on your life. It'd be $1 a month. And for me, it would be a significant change in what I earn. So, it'd be like getting a raise or a promotion at your job. So I really do believe in crowdfunding. But you're always welcome to come into the streams, and you can leave a little tip. You can cause the little Pokemon to pop up on the screen. A lot of people generally do that. The super chats through YouTube, the super chats, you can do those. I do like to teach people, though, that you don't know this. The super chats actually take 30% of the donation and gives it to YouTube. So I always try to teach people about that. The Streamlabs link in the description of the video. See, if you're using Streamlabs, that's what causes the Pokemon to pop up on screen. And all of the donation goes to me when you do the Streamlabs as opposed to the super chat. It's good questions, by the way. It gives me an opportunity to talk about how to support me. Botanical research, no Argosy. That's too bad. And I didn't actually see, did we get any torrent sacks? We probably didn't. Let's go over to the wish list. No, we didn't get any. And I saw you guys saying that you have a better chance at it if you capture. Is that true? Come on. Large monster, Gyrototus, rewards. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's actually true. But let's go ahead and post that investigation a second time. Here we are, hunting Gyrototus once again. We get 3 rewards at the end. Let's go ahead. We'll eat for feline. What do they call it? Fat cat? I think it's feline fat cat. Hazard says, when you go into the hunter's notes, you can check the rarity of items from carving and end screen rewards. Right. That is true, in fact. We have a half-star chance of Lucky Cat. Let's go for it. No Lucky Cat. That's okay. Rajat says, do we have to research all large monsters, including Xena and Zora, to get Monster PhD trophy on PlayStation? I do not know anything about trophies or achievements because I don't give a flip about trophies and achievements. I've never played games for those. They always seemed like this new artificial thing that Xbox and PlayStation created so that we had something to work on. So I don't really care about those too much myself. I just play the game, and if I'm having fun, I'm having fun. Please kick somebody I want to play, says Miggle the Miglet. Miggle, I can't just kick people. It doesn't really work that way. Do we have anyone who doesn't belong in here? Everyone's welcome to be here. I can't just kick people, man. It doesn't work that way. They got here first. It's a first come, first serve, right? David says, if you're down, I'd happily join later if you don't mind, since you rarely play on PlayStation 4. Yeah, we'll see. If somebody leaves, what I can do, David, is I can ask them to leave a slot open. Brian says, I'm tired AF. That's why you need an energy drink. Fan says, you have an 18% chance of getting the sack in a high rank quest reward. Oh, that's terrible. Oh my god, are we going to be farming Gyrototus for a while? Oh no. 18. Oh no, we're going to be fighting this guy a lot. Those are some crappy odds. Talk to ecological researcher. He will update your hunter's notes. Thank you. That is a good tip, Hazard Gaming. That's right. I should do that. 18% chance. Frick, dude. Let's get down there. David. Yeah, definitely, David. Yeah, I've been jumping between the PlayStation and the Xbox quite a bit. If you capture the monsters, you get up to 20 items, so it's like 20 times 18. Let's grab this wedge beetle. Bro, this is dumb. Figured I'd donate on Super Chat so my Google account would work, but then I forgot my password. Passwords. Isn't that amazing? Passwords. Could you imagine what would happen to the internet if passwords didn't work? The internet it would be completely different. Nobody would buy or sell anything on the internet. You just wouldn't use money on the internet anymore. Think about that. Think about what that means. Everything would change. So passwords working on the internet is super important for us to use the internet. It's incredibly important. Banks use the internet, right? Banks use the internet. Everything uses the internet. Accounts, private accounts. If passwords were ever to not work on the internet would just pretty much fall apart. And that's something you don't appreciate very much until you learn about well, issues related to security on the internet. How did they create software that made passwords work? And what would happen if everyone could always hack a password? Your internet would just fall apart. Nobody would use it. You'd use it for like anonymous things, but that's it. You wouldn't use it for things that require money or investment of your time or the release of your private information. All right, he's dead. Yeah, so passwords working on the internet is vital. Vital. It's better to capture him to get the sacks. We just killed him again. I'm so dumb. Gyrototus Carapace, please give me a sack. Gyrototus Fin, please give me a sack. There's another Carapace. Son of a Bleeblop. Alright, we will definitely capture her on this next try. Because we're going to be here all day otherwise. My password is the number of girlfriends I have, which is none. Jaura getting ganked like a Dark Souls 3 invader. You are not dumb. You are not dumb. What? Please give me a sack. That's what she said. Haha, got him. I don't think women actually say that, though. Do they? Maybe they do. Do women care about nut sizes? You don't really hear people bragging about how big their nutsack is, you know? It's usually about dick size. I got a big ding dong. You never hear people saying, I have the biggest testicles that you've ever seen. Girls love it. And what if you actually have quite small family jewels? What do you do then? Is that like something you should be ashamed of? You know how like guys get ashamed if they're small? Well, what if they have small sticking berries, right? Or the berries particularly. The berries. Like what if you have a huge ding dong, but you have tiny berries? Should you be like ashamed? Like, oh man, I'm not as big as other men. Oh no, I'm paralyzed. So imagine you're this dude and you got a giant ding dong, but the berries are tiny, right? Like really small. They're like Fruit Loops. You got Fruit Loops down there. Are you ashamed? Are you like embarrassed? You don't want the lady to know? You're like, maybe hide those, put them away. Fan says, I have the biggest testicle ever. Wallace says, guys do brag about balls, but not literally. Well, we say, man, that guy has balls, right? Like, oh, he's gutsy. But we never like go, bro, I got the biggest nutsack. Boone Kuhn says, recovering from eye surgery, so I can't play on the TV. This is the only way to get my fix. Thanks, dog. Hey, sorry to hear about that, man. Surgery, that's tough. Let me update the cold shower fund so that I don't Blastnut this November. That's a $5 donation. Very good. Recovering from eye surgery. I have had the good luck of never needing surgery all the way up to this point in life, and I hope that luck continues. I probably eventually will need surgery for something. It just happens as you get older, right? But yeah, it's hard to appreciate your health until something goes wrong, you know what I mean? So, there we go. We got 2 of them. 2 of them. Nice. We need 1 more. So hopefully we get the last one in the next run. That was some good luck right there. Eye surgery. I've had a root canal. That's kind of like surgery in a way. It's not that dangerous though, is it? It's just your tooth. So, yeah, it's pretty easy. Stop talking about ding-dongs. Hannah says, all this sack talk is not no Blastnut November appropriate. Imagine not needing knee surgery these days. Yeah. I'll probably need knee surgery or hip surgery someday. I did so much physical labor before I went to college. I really did. I did a ton of physical labor. I didn't go to college until I was 23. So from the ages of like 18 to 23, it was strictly, physical labor, and it does make you feel like you're getting worn out. Your joints, it's not good. And we play video games all day, actually. What do you think our thumbs will be like in the future? When you are 50 years old, if you play video games every day, I'm probably going to play games every day. You think my thumbs will break someday? They probably will. Someday, I don't know when. My thumbs will probably break. Who knows? Hopefully by then I'm retired. I'll be begging you guys for Patreon funds as well. I'll be like, please, I need you. And then if I don't get enough, I'll be like, I deserve, I'll be like, I need senior Social Security. Trent says nut surgery. What? Saren says, I had surgery last year and I can confirm that it was not fun. Jay Drick says gamer's thumb and ulnar nerve impingement. That sucks. Lunar says, whenever your stream is, you can expect a donation. Oh, whenever your next stream is, you can expect a donation from me, but I gotta head off. Catch you later. Thank you very much, Lunar Sun. I'll see you then. Shadow Khan says, ding dong sizes and itsy bits cherries in No Dragon Nut November, only on Gameconomist. Runer, he didn't say ruiner, he said runer, Nergigante. Cole says, I wound up playing too many games and have screwed up my thumb. Yeah, be sure you guys give your thumbs a rest. Try to play lightly, you know, don't have a lot of tense and pressure. You learn to use the joysticks lightly. Actually, one of the main reasons I like using the Elite controllers on the Xbox is because of the paddles underneath. Allows my other fingers to do jobs that my thumbs would have been doing. So it takes some of the work off of my thumbs. So with the Elite controller on the Xbox controller, I'm always programming the paddles to do, you know, assigning buttons and jobs to those paddles to take some of the workload off of my thumbs. Hazard Gaming with the 420 donation, he says, can't let Boone win, and it's impossible to carve sacks. Dang, man. You hear that, Boone Coon? Hazard Gaming's like, I'm out, I'm gunning for you. So you can't harvest sacks. I wonder why that is. Stop talking about ding-dongs. You know you like it. Don't use keyboard and mouse or you'll never... And you'll... Wait, he says don't use keyboard and mouse or you'll get early arthritis. There we go. Really? You know, I never got into like hardcore gaming on the PC. Why do you say that? Whoa! My volume's up too loud.
Got the tip about tipping.
Cora Bika got the tip about tipping. So, very good, man. I tell you what, let's go ahead and update the snack fund for Hazard Gaming. And we will get you right after that then. Because we got to keep this moving. Thank you so much. You know what I should do? I should add some more Pokemon for fun. We're getting ready for the release of... Darn, I was hoping that Cactuar would be up there, but he's not. We're getting ready for the release of Pokemon Sword and Shield. I'm going to be playing Pokemon for the first time in, I don't know, like 8 years maybe? It's been a while. So I am looking forward to that. I'm hoping that I can leave the game a good review because I want to see the Pokemon Company succeed. My biggest concern is that it's really a game that they did not make for hardcore gamers, but we'll have to see. I feel like the PvP aspect of the game probably does make it for hardcore gamers at that point. So if you're going to do like actual battles against people who get really mathematical, so that probably does make the game sophisticated, but you really have to go out of your way. In my opinion, you have to go out of your way to participate in the PvP in that game. And I think one of the problems I have always felt about the PvP in Pokemon was that there was too much RNG in some cases. There was too much RNG, and I also didn't like the establishment of like a meta. So inevitably what would happen in Pokemon is somebody would figure out what the absolute mathematically best loadout, you know, of Pokemon and Pokemon attacks were, and by then you just see those...
In a month, which means no video games for 6 months.
Oh no.
Just have to get my MHW Iceborne. Keep up the good work.
Border Patrol Academy. I don't even know what that is, man. Whoa. Are you actually, so are you going to like work for Border Patrol? That's crazy. An academy, huh? Yeah. Man, you know, there's a lot of hostility toward border control in America because it's such a controversial subject. But actually, I would not be surprised to find out the people who work in Border Patrol probably do an enormous amount of humane things like helping people with food and water and safety and, you know, just all kinds of stuff. They've probably seen a lot of bad stuff, you know. Probably seen a lot of bad stuff. It's kind of the same way with cops. I was talking about the other day how it's always cops who see the worst stuff, and we in society in general, we don't ever get to see it. So a cop actually gets to see what it looks like when somebody gets shot and killed because they're the first ones to discover the body. And we all have like a ton of opinions about how law and law enforcement should work, but we never actually get to see like the mutilated dead bodies or anything like that. So we always have this, I almost want to say coddled perspective of the world. You know what I mean? So yeah, good luck, man. Thanks for the donation. Thank you for the donation. Alright, so I think they already killed Gyrototus, and somebody said you can't carve the torrent sack. David says, a very kind hunter just left me a spot. Is it possible to join now or after this hunt? Yeah, for sure. If you, let's see, how many people are in here? 15 out of 16? Yeah, so if you guys will let David in, David's like the biggest supporter of the channel. I would like to play a match or two with him if he can get in. If you guys don't mind holding off on joining. Rip, I put in a space before the 4. What? Frozen Fenrir says I made it in lol. I think Frozen's about to get his booty booted. He doesn't know it yet. How has Monster Hunter been? I've been behind playing Destiny 2. That's been really fun, man. I heard Destiny's had some pretty decent updates itself. Yeah, so Iceborne's been a lot of fun. And right now we're getting ready for the Resident Evil collab, which comes out on November 7th. I should probably make a video update on that. Is he? Wait, oh, that was funny. I think I was like hopping in the air and he was like stabbing me and it was making me fall over. Wallace says, ew, Destiny 2. That's not Monster Hunter. Oh, no, we didn't get a torrent sack. Dude. Now we got to do another one. Hey, you know what you guys should do with the torrent sack deal? Do me a favor and capture that Gyrototus. I would have done it myself, but I was like messing around looking for that cactuar. No, what happened was the game led me toward Kuluyaku. That's what happened. Dragonfly says, I heard D2 is free now. Yeah, I think a large part of the game is free, but I don't think all of it's free. Dan with the plan says, I'm a capture hunter, so I never ran into serious material issues aside from general scorn from RNGesus. While Among Us says, I play it on PC because it's free and there's many chads there. What? It's a good cause. It's free, so you can't really judge it. I see. Destiny 2 is okay, but I don't play it muchly. It's free to play. They figured out the free-to-play model is working. Well, there should be room for you. There's 2 people have left, so you should have a chance to get in, David. Let me know when you're in, and we'll take you on a run. Come on, the Argosy's got to be back now. Here we go. So, no, I don't see any sacks. That's too bad. We'll still buy these. Should have been buying these the whole time. All right, we'll get the next one loaded up, queued up. I left. Join in, my dude. Join in, my dude. It's nice of you, by the way. Trent says, quest posted. Uh-oh. I'm wondering now if Trent had a better quest than me. Whoa, that filled up, like, immediately. By the way, maybe he's already... Is he already in? He's not already in, is he? Big nuts. Right there. Big nuts. Very, very clever. We were just talking about that. That's the correct name. Fenrir sacrificing for a bro. Pepe hands. Signal them to capture him, but they didn't listen to me. Give them the boot. They're all booted. Off with their heads. Do not, I repeat, do not let Miggle in. We're specifically keeping Miggle out. Wait, is this a door? Does this lead anywhere? What? What just happened? What the... Oh my god, I'm writing that down in my notes. That's going down in the notes. There's a useless door in Celiana. That's getting saved. Let me save this note too so it doesn't get lost. Alright, let's head out. What was even the point of that? It's just like, oh, did you need to walk over here? It's the underground passage. You didn't know about the pimp door? Nope. And I'm betting you there's a lot of people who don't know about it. Third World Gaming says, you're American, right? What are your views on gun control? It's cool if you don't want to answer. Is a pretty controversial topic. I'm just curious is all. Well, it's a controversial subject because there's no easy answer to it, in my opinion. The American founding fathers, when they were forming the country, their very first rule is you have freedom of speech. The government can't tell you what to say. The government can't tell you what to think. And they consider that to be the most important thing, which is why it was the first rule. The second rule was you get to have a gun. So if your government tries to take away your ability to think and to speak, your job isn't to go hunting. Your job is to actually to go shoot the people in the government. So the gun laws, the amendment, the Second Amendment, it wasn't created for you to just do home defense. It wasn't created for you to go hunting. It was quite literally created for you to go to war with your government and overthrow your government through murder, right? So that was the actual intention of the Second Amendment. Now, the problem is we live in the future and we have a ton of prosperity in America. Things are really good. There's great jobs, and this is true for a lot of the world. There's great jobs these days. You can play video games for a living. And the biggest threat to your happiness and your peace is actually crazy people who go out and commit mass shootings so that they can get attention, or because they have they themselves have a tyrannical political belief, such as America's meant for only my race or something like that. And so they actually take the guns that they're allowed to have by the Second Amendment and they commit their own kind of tyranny with it. So these days we have a bigger threat of violence coming from civilians than we do from government. And so this is what drives the Democrats to correctly look at gun control and say we should just take all the guns. Well, they don't say this out loud, but they essentially, I think what they would like to do is just change the Second Amendment to you can't have guns. Some of them are going to be like we should just have better gun control, but I think in the end, better gun control is not going to do it. You really do kind of have, if you really want to stop mass shootings, I think you have to take pretty much all the guns away. That's the only thing that's going to work. Because you might have fewer deaths with two handguns, but you're still going to have a bunch of deaths with two handguns. If you're a good shot, you're just going to shoot people with a handgun rather than a, assault style. That's what they say, an assault style AR-12 or whatever it's called, right? So you just have this sort of really hard to solve problem. It could all be solved right now if people would just stop choosing to kill each other. That would be a nice solution, wouldn't it? That would be a nice solution if you could just stop people from being crazy. And a good question is, this law has actually, the Second Amendment has been a law in America for a very long time, right? It was the basis for many, the actual Constitution was founded around those ideas of the right to kill your government and the right to have freedom of speech. That's what America did, right? So a lot of conservatives are not willing to give that up because we're having gun problems today. But the question is, how do you stop all the shootings? And why didn't we have mass shootings in schools every other day in the 90s, or every other day in the 80s, or every other day in the 70s? So it's like this new modern problem, and it's tough, man. It's tough. Everyone has a theory. There's two solutions to it. Would be to do nothing and hope that people change and hope that the problem goes away on its own. And I don't know. I suppose that's possible. You wouldn't want to overreact, I guess, is what that solution is don't overreact. The second solution, in my opinion, is to heavily, heavily moderate guns. And this would fundamentally change the way that our Constitution is written so that you're really not going to overthrow your government through murder because you don't have the means to do that. You've got like a handgun, a very limited means, and you are very restricted on whether you're allowed to have it. So, two very different versions of America. I guess we can say, crap, here we go again. Handguns kill more people than any other firearm. Right, but the mass shootings are almost always done with the AR, whatever the number after the AR letters is. I got to shoot one of those last year. It's pretty wild. Listen to your elders and hush. I enjoy watching your build videos. Actually playing Iceborne right now. May RNGesus be with you. Damn, Walla committing child abuse. Oh, he put the hand there. Is he smacking? Humans are pretty poopy. Humans have always been pretty poopy. But, it's strange. I feel like the whole mass shooting is more of a recent phenomenon. We've had one or two of them, which if you really think about it, if somebody really wanted to kill a lot of people, all they would really need to do is rent, I don't know, a truck from Home Depot. I rented a truck from Home Depot. When I moved to my condo, it cost me $20 to rent a very large, kind of like construction style truck from Home Depot. I also rented a U-Haul from U-Haul. That's basically it's a small truck as well. It's a bit bigger. They just need to pay $20 to rent one of those. They just took my license. That's, they're like, okay, you got a license. That's it. And if I wanted to, I could do that on a day where I know there's a festival going on somewhere, and I would probably just run over as many people as I could before the cops could stop me. So there's all kinds of ways. There was the Boston Marathon bombers. There's all kinds of ways to hurt people if you really want to hurt people. And I think that taking away the guns would probably reduce the amount of death in America from guns. I actually agree with that with the Democrats. It's just like a logistical thing. If you take away the means, then it's probably going to be reduced. The whole argument like, oh, well, places that have gun control have shootings anyways, right? Well, yes, but that's because there's still guns all around, pretty much all around that area, because the country is still heavily divided on whether or not to take all the guns away. And often you're talking about laws that the laws themselves don't work that well. What really would work was just taking all the guns away. Just take them all away. Like if you took 100% of the guns away from all Americans, you would see a drop in the number of gun deaths. But it would fundamentally change what it means to live in America. It would change what your freedoms are. So I actually agree with the left that reducing the amount of guns and reducing access to them would stop gun deaths. Yeah, I think you're being dishonest if you don't admit that, in my opinion. I think that you're being dishonest if you don't admit that. But on the other hand, it's a question of whether you want to not have the right to have a gun. And a lot of people aren't willing to do that. What am I doing? Am I posting an investigation? Here we go. Can't seem to find your session ID anywhere, and the quality is so low I can't see the numbers on the screen because my router just died. Tell you what, David, let me send you the session ID on Discord. I'll actually copy and paste it over for you. One moment. I have to open Discord. Sorry about that, man. I didn't realize you weren't in. I'm so busy talking about this subject. I'm like preoccupied. All right, I'm scrolling down. Let's grab the session ID chat. All right, and here it is. It was in the channel called Session ID Chat. I'm going to go ahead and grab that ID. And then I believe I should have you in here. I can send it to you here, or I can just post it to the chat room, if that's what you want. If I post it to the chat room, that might actually reduce your odds of getting in. Okay, let's see. I'm on Discord now. I'm like distracted. I'm reading messages. You guys know I get like 1 billion messages a day. You should see how many messages I get in one day. Oh, and we should update the snack fund too, right? There's so much to stay on top of here. Here, let's go ahead and depart so we get the load screen. So we're going to update the snack fund for Cora Bika 2, who says, got the tip about tipping. And the snack fund today is called the Cold Shower Fund because we are trying not to blast nut in no blast nut November. Make sure I spell his name right. Cora Bika 2. Very cool. All right, we jump back to the dashboard, live stream. Well, we almost got 600 people viewing. How cool is that? Actually, how many people do we have in Twitch watching? Let's see how many people on Twitch are watching. 13. I don't have the same following on Twitch as I do on YouTube. So about 580 people on YouTube watching and about 13 on Twitch watching. Let's go ahead and eat a meal. Chef's choice platter. Wait, we don't need a meal. This is high rank. All right, and yeah, let me know if you got that, David. If you didn't get it, what I'll do is I will just post it in the chat room. Don't use sticky this month because you don't want to use Blastnut. That's right. If you're using sticky ammo, you lose. Third World Gaming says, thanks for the answer. Most people don't answer because people on both sides of the argument get pretty disgruntled based on one's answer. Your answer honest and well thought out. Yeah, when the Democrats say if we take all the guns away, we'll reduce gun violence, they're right. And the conservatives don't want to admit that. They're absolutely correct. If you went into your society and took 100% of the guns away from everyone, just 100%, there would still be bad guys, yes, and they would have guns, and you would still see the number of gun shootings go down. That's just how it's going to be. It's like, okay, here's one. The Democrats make the same bad argument. They say if you take abortion away, see, there's a Democrat, they use the same argument, and it's a bad argument. They say if you take the abortions away, it won't stop the abortions. We'll just have the abortions in secret. And the reality is, it probably would stop some abortions. Like, yes, you're right, actually. Some illegal abortions would continue. But in general, you'll have shifted the numbers so that fewer abortions continue. Some people will just go, you know what? I'm not going to risk having a serious medical crisis in my life. I guess I'll just have a child, right? Which, that sounds so funny, doesn't it? Doesn't that sound dark? Like, I guess I'll have a child, right? But that's the truth. So when the Democrats make the argument that making abortion illegal would not stop abortion, they're actually making the same argument that the Republicans make when the Republicans say taking away all the guns won't stop the mass shootings. Probably it would. And probably what you would see happen is you would see still crazy people would try to do some sort of terroristic move. Like, you'd probably see people move over to using cars. You would see somebody take a car, a big heavy truck, and he would run it through a crowd. And so not only do we have to decide if we want to give up our rights to bear arms against our government, we just slayed him again. I'm so dumb, dude. We're supposed to be capturing him. Oh my god, he dies too easily and I'm talking. Not only do we have to decide if we want to give up those freedoms to have fewer gun deaths, which I would say the conservatives are not agreeing with that at all. They're like, nope. Not only do we have to ask that, but the other question is, how do we just stop people from doing these in the first place? You know what's funny? In a lot of the mass shootings, usually somebody kind of knew ahead of time that something was not right with the individual. They will have posted something on the internet, and it's like the FBI will have known ahead of time and done nothing because maybe they just were not ready to act. So changing some laws so that we can detect people who are getting ready to do a mass shooting ahead of time, that would probably help somewhat. Yeah, it's just a tough question. It's a tough question. I'm going to get off of that topic, though. We're not going to keep talking about it. Okay, so we're all done with that. Let's get back to the game. Oh, where am I running? The wrong direction. All right, we're going this way. Yeah, everyone wants a solution. You know what would be nice is if you could just live in a place with people who aren't crazy. That would fix a lot of things right away. You know? It's funny. It's funny. You create laws to try and make your place a good place to live. Make your country a good place to live. And you know what would be really easy if you just didn't have shitty people. Problem solved. Just don't have shitty people. It's almost like relationships, you know? Got this relationship with a bad person and you're like trying to go to therapy and you're trying to figure out how to fix them and figure out, oh man, how are we going to make this relationship work? You know what works really fast? Breaking up with that person works really fast. It's just like, oh, that worked. It's exactly the same way with running a country. If your country is just full of bad people, no laws can fix that. While Amanga says, talk about how Twitch sucks. Twitch. Twitch is prejudiced toward thoughts or something like that. I don't know. What am I supposed to say? Imagine not being able to pause, rewind, or forward the stream. Zoop. Boop. Man, I really like the EI Spirit Slash. It's so cool. Shoop. Yeah, that's right. I'm 100% more weeb than you. Do you think Gore Magala will come back in the title update? He should. He was one of the best fights in GU. He was a really good fight. Valstrax was a really good fight. Zamtrios was a really good fight. Gore is one of their best looking monsters. And so here we go. There's our last Torrent sack that we were after. We are set on that. He was one of their best looking monsters, so they definitely should be considering him right now. Says session ID is incorrect or doesn't exist. Well, I tell you what, David, what I'll do then is I will go ahead and we'll look it up right now in the live stream and I'll type it out in the session chat, okay? Just to make sure we got everything squared off. Weird. Breadlines for America, what? How do you forward the live stream? Well, you can forward the live stream if you've rewound it, is what he's saying probably. Gameconomist is an e-thought for Twitch. That's right. Subscribe to my Instagram if you want all of my naughtiest pictures or something. Oh, right, we're going to look up the session ID. So here's the session ID. I'm going to type it out in the chat room for you, David. I'll say @David. There you go. And it's going to be 44ADM6ZVBFZL. You know what I had to do, David? I had to friend you. I had to friend you on PlayStation. I don't know if that would make it easier, but I'm pretty sure it would. That's what I ought to do. Figure out how to do that. I'm not very good at figuring out how friendships work on PlayStation. So if you're still watching by the end of this stream, we can try to sort that out. I should probably friend you on PlayStation. Only the finest footprint. Well, you don't need pictures of my feet. It's everyone else's feet. All right, let's see. Upgrade equipment. Flood charm. Very good. Hydrated sack. What is this, man? It says push X, and I push square because on the Xbox, the X button is actually where the square is. It's so confusing. Yeah, that messes me up all the time. And we're gonna check it out. Very rare coral puki material from the Guiding Lands. Okay, so now we know. How about Shock Charm 1? Toby Claw. We need to fight low-rank Toby for the Shock Charm. And we're working on these charms, by the way, guys, because we're going to be using bows and dual blades on the PlayStation. So it's really worth our time to get these sorted out. Here he is, Toby, the current situation. Wallace says, I'm friends with GE on PlayStation. That's right. Yes, you are. I remember that. I'm not good at figuring out how friendships work. Stop right there. That's relatable. Yeah, human interactions. Human interactions. We have so much robots and technology and everything. You know, it's funny. When I was a kid, I had 11 siblings, right? I was the oldest brother. So there was a point where there were about 9 children all talking to each other. And you learn a lot about being a social animal when you're in a big family, because you have to. And I'm trying to imagine maybe a different life. Maybe it's 2015 and I'm like, or maybe it's 2019 and I'm like 15 years old and I've got a cell phone and I'm a single child because mom and dad didn't have as many children because they can't afford so many children. It's too expensive. And I just spend my whole day on my cell phone and then on my video games, and I have 0 interactions. And I think to myself, wow, that would cause me to become a very socially anxious person with poor social skills and not a lot of confidence in my ability to deal with people and to deal particularly with conflict, right? So in my family, there was constant conflict. That's what happens when your home is too small and you have 11 siblings. There's just constant conflict. And so I was just always having to deal with that growing up. But I'm just imagining being a single child, you're like almost pampered probably, because you don't have to talk to anyone or do anything, and your parents probably just give you what you need for the most part, unless you have really bad parents. So some of you probably have had bad parents. But yeah, you just have what you need, and you don't have to learn anything socially. That would be tough, man. David says, now it says session is full, and now I'm timed out. God dang it, dude. This game, seriously. So what we should do, I would like to play with David tonight if you guys will help. What you should do is next time someone leaves the session, if you do join after that, I'm just going to give you the booty. That is what I'm going to do. Actually, tell you what, David, it just occurs to me I can already do that. Let's find out who joined last. That person is getting whacked. It's Yori Uchi has joined. So Yori Uchi, you're out, man. We've been trying to get my friend David in. Let's see. Sorry, Yori Uchi. This is one of those moments in the stream where you feel super powerful. Like, I'm above the law. That's how you feel when you give them the boot. Let's jump over here to the tent up here. One of those lucky experiences you have when you're the session host. You're like, I decide who lives and who dies, right? Goes to your head. All right, Toby Kapoopy. Don't roar. He's not roaring. Oh, yes he is. I tried to roll it, but it didn't work. That's kind of mean. LMAO. Nope, it's not mean because I already told people I'm going to boot whoever was last in to try and get David in. Because David gets a reserve spot. Rip Yoriyuchi. Stop! You violated the law. Yeah, I already said I was going to boot whoever was last in. GC playing God out here. Right, I get like a big head because I get to boot people out of the session. Man, I bet that actually does go to your head if you're actually in charge of something important in the world, you know? Imagine being a world leader and just deciding, like, if somebody lives or dies. We have all this military conflict, and none of that conflict occurs without somebody saying, all right, go attack, right? They tell the generals, or the generals get to do the talking, right? None of that happens without somebody at the top telling them what to do. That's got to go to your head a little bit. You're like, go kill this person over here. That's got to go to your head a little bit. I bet you it does. Didn't we just take out the ISIS leader? I don't even remember his name. Yeah, I think that just happened recently. The leader of ISIS was taken out in a U.S. military attack. Whew, man. That's got to make you feel pretty strong when you're just like... under the Obama administration, he finally took down... Who was it? Was it Osama bin Laden? I don't even remember the guy's name. Isn't that sad? That's how long ago it was. The bad guy, right? Oh, he's the bad guy. But it's just kind of like, we got him. He's out of here. You can be halfway across the world and we'll find you and kill you. Somebody in the chat's gonna throw up a conspiracy like, oh, but did they really kill him or did they stage it? The moon landing was fake after all. Jonathan says, I think he was the founder leader. That's right. He was like the what do you call that? There's a word for like the religious leader of an Islamic group. Ayatollah or something like that. I don't remember. Oh, and there was all this controversy in the news, I think, because was it the New York Times or something, or Washington Post, that called him like a religious scholar or something like that? This dude's going around committing genocide in the Middle East, against other Muslims too, by the way. Muslims who didn't agree with his version of Islam, just going around casually committing genocide on these guys, or whatever you want to call it, religious oppression of, yeah, it's the religious scholar. Imagine using those words to describe him. Okay, so what were we going after? How do we get roped into talking about this? I think I probably got myself into talking about that this time. So we want to go and craft the shock charm. That's what we want. Is that right? Forge equipment. Oh my god, I better know what I'm doing here. I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. Wait, so we go to the wish list. So all a blur is happening too fast. Here it is, and we're ready to craft it. Very good. The austere religious scholar. Oh, you're right. Thank you, Jay Drix. So they called him, was it in the Washington Post? They didn't call him like a ruthless killer or a genocidal maniac or one of the worst things to happen in a while. They called him an austere religious scholar. Are they doing it for the click? Like, do they know we're going to get triggered? Is that what it is? Like, they're like, all right, how do we get more views? Call him an austere religious scholar. That'll get us views. Right? Is that all it comes down to? I don't know, man. He got chased by a K9 unit and he blew himself up and his kids. Whoa, I did not know that detail. Assuming it's true, that's nuts, man. It's like, you're not taking me. Imagine your dad runs at you with explosives attached. Oh no. Kieran, Thundertail, and Thunder Sack. We're going after more sacks, guys. It was WAPO, Washington Post. Washington Post, owned by Amazon. Amazon, Jeff Bezos owns the Washington Post. Imagine being such a powerful corporation and such a powerful rich man that you can purchase the media. That's one of the things we're so concerned about. Oh, the government needs to be free of the media. The media needs to be acting independently. Does it really act independently, though? When you're owned by Amazon, you're just a wing of another powerful group. As if corporations can't hold the same power that government can. What am I talking about? Right, we're going to go after... Where do we get the torrent sacks from? That's what we need to know. So this is regular Kieran, and this is... I don't know who drops that. So we were going to the Hunter's Notes. That's what we were doing. Right. So let's see. Okay, so we can get from Toby. Is it just Toby? All right, we'll just go find more Toby. Was that high rank Toby? I bet it was high rank Toby. If we could capture the high rank Toby, that would be nice, by the way. Where is he? No. He's probably down here. Imagine fighting high rank Toby when Iceborne is out. What would you think of Seregios in Iceborne? That would be okay. I think there's a lot of better options, though, like Velkhana. I'm sorry, not Velkhana. Valstrax. They both have V in the beginning of their name. Valstrax, Zamtrios, Gormagala. I mean, if you're going to bring in more monsters, aim for the stars, right? Bezos owns that too? Dang. Yep, that's right. Jeff Bezos owns the Washington Post. Imagine that. How's that a good idea? I give up. I fear my internet is broken. Getting a new router. Well, hold on. Let me check and make sure that. Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm sorry, David. It could be, yeah, there could be some sort of connection issue going on because it does appear to be that there's only 15 members in the session. So a spot is open. Well, we'll have to keep trying, David. And if you can figure out how to friend me on PlayStation, then in the future, you should just be able to join through the fact that you're on my friends list. So keep that in mind. We should get that sorted out. It'll be easier for you to join. Cole Thomas says, it's 1 a.m. on the East Coast. Gotta head out. It was nice watching the stream. It was nice having you here. Thanks for watching, man. Bulldog says, you chose a low rank quest, not a high rank quest. Thank you so much. The real hero. The real unspoken hero. Sorry, guys, everyone waiting in that quest. And sorry for you guys, because now you're going to have to watch more load screens. Good save. Here he is. Do you this habit of making bad jokes when you're in a tense situation? That's me. Tense situations? I've done that before. Where you kind of embarrass yourself by saying something stupid because you think you're trying to be funny, but you're not that funny. I've done that before. Usually at work. I'll be like, some manager will be there and some bad thing will be going on and I'll try to make light of it, but it just comes off as dumb. But I haven't had a problem like that in a while. Hi, Gameconomist. Have you seen the 15th anniversary video? I certainly have. Do you think we're getting... what's your view on the few Black Dragons shown? Fatalis? Yeah, we might be getting Fatalis, but they could just be pulling our legs. Alex says, why do you say PlayStation like PlayStation, not PlayStation? PlayStation. That's the PlayStation. Wallamanga. The frick? You're welcome. I refuse to go to bed even if it's 1. Nice. Well, it is the weekend, right? What is your gamer tag on PlayStation or on the Xbox? Walla, I was going to say the same thing. What? How do you say it correctly? Is there a correct way to say it? PlayStation. I'm going to play on the PlayStation. I'm giving up. I'm playing on a cellular internet. Oh, that could be it. I'll try again in the coming week. Thanks for trying, though. Really appreciate it. No problem, David. And thank you for being such a huge supporter, man. Desktop Duck PlayStation. What? PlayStation. I'm playing on the PlayStation. Why would you say PlayStation that way? I'm just messing with you guys. Do you think there should be more weapons with unique skills like Lupastra and Seregios? Absolutely. In fact, it needs to be even more unique. Because really all you had with the Lupastra weapons is they had built-in skills. We need like custom attack animations and other special attributes. Attributes that really aren't in the game except on that weapon. I really believe in that. I think that they make like 50 weapons for one weapon class, which makes it seem like they're doing a lot of work. But the reality is, if you're only using one of those weapons from that weapon class, have you really done that much work? Well, let me put it another way. If you're doing all that work, but nobody uses those weapons, was the work worth it? And I would say no. I think it's really important that there's a good reason to use multiple weapons. Okay, come on. Okay, guys, let's try to capture this guy, if you don't mind. Oh, this guy's using Blastnut. He just failed No Nut November. No Blastnut November. He failed it. Alright, he's a Durlin. There we go. Nice job. David Larson, what's your PSN, by the way? What is this PSN? Ugh. He just blast-nutted all over Toby's face. That is actually accurate. Phenomenon says, that's why I think we should have Seregios, because his weapons sharpen themselves when you roll with the unsheathed weapons. That's pretty cool. I actually remember that because I used the Seregios hammer for a long time. Ah, there it is. We got it. We got him, boys. Alright, and now, while we're on this load screen, I will be right back. I'm going to go to the bathroom. What do you think of that? I'm going to tell you every detail of my life, even if you didn't ask for it. Don't forget, kids, always wash your hands after going to the bathroom. Alright, here we are. He probably had Taco Bell. No. No, I did not. I had a frozen pizza, actually, if you want to know. Because I'm trying to not spend all my money. How dare you compare my Sword of Justice to the Poke Poke Stick? Sword of Justice... I don't think the longsword reminds me of a Sword of Justice. It's more like a ninja samurai kind of thing, you know? Maybe that's how you see it, though. Alright, so we're ready to go make that Thunder Charm. Yeah, I got some negative feedback on that video because people were like mad that I was making the comparison between them. Why would you say that? Shock Charm. Oh, okay, so we need the Kirin Thundertail as well. Let's go get the Kirin Thundertail. Weeb Stick versus Stick Stick. Sir, Mr. Gameconomist, you better... What was that? Well, there was a weird noise I just heard in the house. That wasn't a doorbell, was it? Dude, that was really weird. Sir, Mr. Gameconomist, you better not have gone to bust a Blastnut in the bathroom. I think you meant to say Blastnut. Let's go ahead and post a quest. Kirin Thundertail. Is that high rank or low rank? I bet it's high rank. I couldn't just tell you. That would be too difficult, wouldn't it? Oh, God. Where's Kirin? Oh, my God. I didn't know he was way down here. Okay, rewards. That's low rank. So we want high rank. Optional quest. He's not going to be here. Is he going to be here? Here he is. Hey, I haven't even done this optional quest, so I'm doing it for the first time. Power pole extend. What? Longsword versus lance. Everyone knows the charge blade won in the end. Yeah. What do you think I'm going to compare to the charge blade, by the way, fan? What are your guesses? I'll leave you guessing. I won't tell you. FBI, open up. That's right. FBI, open up. I was watching some TikTok the other day, actually. Yeah, I was just kind of like bored. I was waiting for a video to render because I was going to post a video. And when I'm waiting for a video to render, I just kind of sit there with nothing to do. But it's not like enough time to do something substantial, like watch a show or have a meal. So I just kind of sit there for 20 minutes. And I need to waste my time or something. I don't know. And so I popped open TikTok because I hadn't seen it in a long time. And I was just flipping through, and it was really funny. They were doing TikToks where they were making fun of that dance in the Joker movie. Right after the train scene with the three financial dudes, right? Wall Street dudes. Right after that scene where he runs into the bathroom and dances. And they take the score from that part of the movie, and then they have their own dance to it, or they satirize it. Awesome. It was really funny. It was actually really funny. It's pretty good humor, in my opinion. Let's go ahead and grab our temporal mantle. Freaking TikTok, though. Half of it is just e-girls. I'm a girl. I'm really pretty. Please let me finish this. Yes! What is he doing? He's just like... What was funny? Your mama. Got him. Your mama was funny. This is gonna hurt. See, why do I even bother with the claw? God damn, dude. Freaking claw. Alright, let's get that tail. It's kind of a taller Kieran, isn't it? Oh, don't do it. Man, I've fought this guy too many times. I had it on my phone and it was 0.5 gigabytes. What are you talking about? Gameconomist watching TikTok. What can I say? I am a man of low, poor tastes. Oh. Sorry, knocking me away there. Interrupted my spirit blade. Oh. It wouldn't have even mattered because it's not like the foresight slash would have hit him on the other part of the move. I can't finish my spirit blade. I keep getting interrupted. Stop blastnutting on that Kieran. Oh, right. It looks like Zeri's using blastnut now. All these guys failing no blastnut November. Ah, darn. You watched TikTok. My respect for you just dropped from 1 to 0.69. Oh, man. No, TikTok is pretty, TikTok's pretty special ed. I don't know what to say. But, occasionally you find some decent humor on it. Occasionally. Occasionally. Not all the time. I don't really watch it too much. I just had nothing to do. I had already done... So, like, what I normally do is I go mess around with my Pokemon cards, but I'd actually already finished doing stuff with my Pokemon cards for that day, so there wasn't really anything for me to do, I was just sitting there bored. Didn't really have anything I wanted to watch on YouTube. Jump up here. My respect for you increased from 69 to 420. TikTok is just short form YouTube, let's be honest. Yeah, I agree, it's just another platform. Too much of it's e-girls, though. It's kind of like, I don't know, it's an interesting phenomenon. It's an interesting phenomenon because I think a lot of people think of e-girls as taking advantage of men. But when you're on a platform like TikTok and you see just how many e-girls there are, it actually starts to look like it's the women competing amongst each other. And it makes you realize, it almost seems like the men affect the way the women present themselves is what I was thinking about. I was thinking, is this occurring because, is this, basically I was trying to think of it from a, maybe a kind of a natural, what's the word? Like, how did this occur? How did this happen? How did we reach this point where girls are dressing up in anime outfits and very sexually and dancing and all this other stuff? Like, how do we reach this point? Is it just what women wanted? And then I kind of ask myself, maybe it's just what men want, right? And you realize that, and it's like, oh my gosh, that's probably actually the case. The women present themselves this way because they know this is actually what guys want. A lot of guys want this. And then it made me realize girls are kind of in this situation where the one thing they compete over, a lot of us just compete over the ability to have a partner, right? That's most of what drives a human being is just that, right? And it's interesting to see both men and women have to strategize how to make themselves presentable. And the women it feels like they're shifting over to making themselves presentable by being more anime-ish, if that's even a word. It's probably not. And I was just kind of thinking about that and going, wow, what does that say about men too, What does that say about men? All these guys watching like half-naked cartoon girls on the internet now, I guess that's what guys are into. And it's pretty interesting. What about a man dressing up in an anime outfit and dancing? Silver Crown Kieran. Lord Killerrath says it happened because too many lonely dudes want to pay for a girl on false hope of dating. No, I don't actually believe in that. So I think there is money involved, and I think there are plenty of lonely dudes who are delusional. I do believe that exists. Delusional lonely men. I think the majority of men are not delusional. They might be lonely, but not delusional. Probably what's going on is men are not just lonely delusional men, but just men in general are clicking on it and staring at it. That is very likely what's going on. Wait, I thought we had enough thunders. Oh, we're missing one. Okay, off to fight Toby again. Let's go take him down. I was mistaken. It's under optional. And what was he? The second list? I think he was the second list, right? Was he the first list? He was the first list. Okay. There he is. Yeah, it's something. I feel like the men shape the women and the women shape the men. I think there's a kind of thing going on where men try to be what they think women want, and women try to be what they think men want. And what's interesting about a platform like TikTok is TikTok very quickly figures out what men want without any communication. So I really feel like most men would not go around saying, yeah, I just want a girl to dress up like an anime girl and basically just be, super hypersexualized, right? Most men would not talk that way. They'd just be like, oh yeah, here's my girlfriend. That's the way most men would talk. So what we discover from an app like TikTok is what attracts the most traffic and attention are the girls who are, hypersexualized, very, very attractive, and they dress up and they do all the acting and all that. So it's almost like a glimpse into what actually draws the most attention. So that's what's most interesting. So before in society, you just wouldn't know it. You wouldn't know what was popular. You can't guess what's going on in the subconscious of other people. Half the time, maybe you don't know what you want. You don't know what you want until it's presented to you by somebody very clever. But then let's say you did know what you want. You wouldn't admit it to anyone. You wouldn't admit to anyone that you like this weird thing, right? It's not acceptable. But the internet's changed that. Apps like TikTok have changed that. Now, nobody has to know that you like this particular thing. You just go watch it. And what happens is all the software decides what the most people wanted to watch. What the most people wanted to watch was, right, like the e-girls, basically. E-girls that get vilified, but I feel like they're more like a symptom, not a root cause or whatever. Their behaviors are not in isolation or in a vacuum. Their behaviors are actually what people wanted is what people wanted. And I really feel that way, because when you work on something like, when you work on YouTube, that's what I do, right? I do YouTube. One of the things you learn if you've been doing it long enough is you can't force people to like your content. Is your content does well if it's the thing that everyone wanted, and that's exactly how it works. There's no, it's like one of the purest forms of a free market is YouTube, right? This is one of the purest forms of a free market. It's funny too, because when you work on YouTube, we have all these laws around minimum wage that force companies to not be able to operate, hire somebody at a low wage. So there's all these jobs that never exist because companies aren't willing to risk hiring, somebody on a high wage, right? So they're like, you have to be worth this much. That's why you end up with the situation where it's like, you have to have 5 years of experience and also be brand new, right? That's how you end up with a situation like that. Well, anyways, it's interesting because YouTube gets away with hiring people on minimum wage. When I started YouTube, first of all, I made no money when I started. But when I did start making money on YouTube, it was like 5 cents. It was like a nickel. It would be like 5 cents. It would be like 10 cents. It would be 25 cents. And I might have worked on a video for like 8 hours, 16 hours. The hardest time to learn is actually at the beginning. So at the beginning, you're working for like 25 cents a video. And you're putting the most hours in. You're just being paid nothing. And YouTube just gets away with that. Other companies don't get away with that, right? Because we don't see it as employment, but that's exactly what it is. It is employment. Because this is a job now. So it's very interesting. And then, like I was saying, the actual videos themselves are like one of the purest forms of the free market. Because if you guys don't like my video doesn't do well. If you love my video does well. It's as simple as that. And yeah, all that ties into this interesting... Oh, were we supposed to capture? Oops, I think we were supposed to capture him. I wasn't even paying attention. But yeah, all that ties into the whole issue with like the e-girls and everything like that. We all like to make fun of the e-girls, but it's interesting. E-girls just wouldn't exist if nobody clicked on their crap. They just wouldn't exist because they would be a failed content. Yeah, e-girls would not exist because they would be failed content. And then the girls who are trying to make it on these platforms, trying to be successful, they would try something else out. So, and that's what I'm saying. When I was talking about earlier about trying to observe it naturally, what I find most interesting is that the thing that succeeded, the thing that drew the largest crowd naturally, was girls dressing up as anime girls. What am I talking about? Basil teleported in, that's right. Frick, man. Everyone loves the regular Basil Goose. Any love for the Basil cousin? Yeah, seething Basil Goose is really cool. Why do you keep hunting the same monster over and over again? Because this is Monster Hunter World, where you need one material and you can't have it. It's not allowed. You're definitely never allowed to have this material. Is this a capture quest? I don't think this is a capture quest. Weird. If you could make a monster with weapons that have unique mechanics, what would it be based on, and what would the mechanic be? Okay, how about a tar monster? Oh, okay, so how about a monster that is like a big spider? And you ever see in nature, there's like a type of spider where what it does is, it doesn't make a net. What it does is it creates like a ball of web, like a sticky ball of web, and then that spider literally throws the ball of web at its target, and this just kind of sticks the target, right? So how about a monster fight with a spider like that? The spider creates like essentially like a slingshot of spider web, and then it lobs it at you to try and catch you. And then the special weapons will be like spider legs or some crazy stuff like that. And it will have the ability to like, I don't know, it'll allow you to, what would be the special ability for it? Stick to a monster? I don't feel like that would actually be good, sticking to a monster necessarily. How about the ability to climb any surface? What if you could climb literally any surface? That'd be cool. As if it was vines. That'd be neat. That would add an interesting mechanic to the game. Yeah, oh, right there. Alex said it right there. He said climb walls. Yeah, so it would change the game so that fundamentally everything in the game is treated as a vine, as a climbable vine. That'd be cool. Mez says, technically the most popular on Twitch and TikTok is just videos with big cleavage. Men are the biggest consumers of digital media, so yeah, sex sells. That's It's what we all want. It's what everyone wants. We want Kim Kardashian with a fake butt. Josh Lugo says, I fought a Savage Joe in the Grinding Lands. He carded me about 5 times. Yeah, he's nuts. Savage Devil Joe. He was whipping my butt the other day. Chris Cook says, Nursilla already throws webs at you. Oh, okay. Well, there you go. There you have it. I guess I was just describing an already existing monster. While Among Us says, which reminds me, I wanted to upload the audio clip of Seething Bazaguy's special roar. Ooh, there's a flower bed here. Ooh, piece of candy. Hey man, I got Monster Hunter World recently, and I'm HR 39 doing all the optional quests. Should I wait to get Iceborne until I'm higher rank? Should I wait to get Iceborne until I'm higher rank? Well, as soon as you finish the story mode, as soon as you reach, you defeat the last fight, and you reach like high rank 16 or whatever it is, then you would want to own Iceborne and go immediately into Iceborne so that you can pick up some Iceborne weapons. No Blastnut November. That's right, Mr. Eyes. Ooh, piece of cleavage. That's right. But does that make men disgusting? Well, sort of. Yeah, it does. I tend to think of sexuality a little bit like the way I think of food. You have a very primitive part of your brain telling you to go eat. And the reason your brain tells you to do this is because if you don't have, sexual relationships with somebody, then you're not going to have babies, right? That's how it's going to work. So the men and women, our ancestors who naturally had a good sex drive, were more likely to pass on children because they wanted to have sex. And then we end up in the future with, an obsession with sexuality. So it's a very natural thing. There's nothing about it unnatural. But the problem is people don't realize when they're like addicted to sexuality. I think people tend to not be aware that it's really just your body telling you to go do a thing. You're not aware that it's just your body. A great way to place it is your brain's trying to get you pregnant. That's what your brain's trying to do. A lot of people don't think of it that way. You talk about sexuality, you usually think about what's happening on the surface, visually what's happening, emotionally what's happening, but underneath it all, it's just your brain trying to get you pregnant. That's all it is. Your wife, your girlfriend. That's all it is. And when you realize that, it changes everything. Changes everything. When you're very aware of it, you think of it all very differently. Same with when you're hungry. So when you're hungry, it's just your body just telling you, yeah, you're gonna love eating. But if you were to indefinitely eat, you would become, very fat. So that's the problem. Dre Drake says, honestly, would have rather had a couple new areas to the map instead of the grinding lands. I agree. I'm not a big fan of the grinding lands after thinking about it for a while. I don't think the grinding lands, they're just another reuse, recycled content. That's all it is in the end. My body tells me to bust a Blastnut. That's right. The special ability could be that if you hit the monster enough, it adds a buildup that eventually sticks the monster to the ground like traps. Hey, that would be cool. Yeah, for sure. Lord Killerrath says, guys stare at boobies and booties. Girls stare at our booties and ding-dongs, so I think it's a fair trade. I don't think that's true. Do girls really? I think... I could have sworn I read somewhere women mostly they notice your shoulders and your jawline. Isn't that right? Like, I'm sure they look at your body overall, but I think women most and foremost will notice your jawline and your shoulders first. I could be wrong about that. All right, let's see. Got 2 sacks, says Miggle. Ah, darn. Yeah, we still need it. Let's go ahead and post it again. Jeez Louise, man. All this low rank stuff. Did they really name that optional quest Hard to Swallow? They look at your wallet too. That's right. That's actually accurate. Women want to know if you're going to stick around and take care of their offspring. They want to know that. A lot of women do anyways. The Chad shoulders, but beta jaw. Savage Devil Joe says, I love how the grinding lands look, and I love the idea of the end game but it gets annoying after a bit, and I just dropped it to just have fun with hunting and fighting monsters. Yeah, I actually think what they had going on with investigations was good enough. The idea of the grinding lands is interesting at first until you realize, well, it's just an investigation that you can't lose. It's an investigation that you can't lose in recycled map of content, right? So it's not like you're really out of the Wildspire Waste, you're still in it. And then it's RNG. It's like investigations, but RNG, and there's no way to lose. And there's this whole new set of materials you have to unlock now. So the materials requirements just got really complicated unnecessarily. Josh says, I recently used the Magna Gametis, sticky ammo to stun Kushala, and then bomb her, took her down in 6 minutes. So what you're telling me, Josh, is that you failed no Blastnut November. Emma Clark says, that's kind of true. That's the first thing I notice on a guy. Not that it matters, though. Well, it kind of matters. The reason that people notice these body parts, once again, is, if you start to break it down to like the scientific parts of human sexuality, you're looking for signs of good genetics, right? So you get, your body drives you to go have a sexual relationship with somebody, and that's your brain trying to get you pregnant. So that's the first part. The second part is your brain tries to have you hook up with somebody with good genetics, right? It doesn't want you to have a baby with somebody who will produce a bad baby. It wants you to have babies with somebody who will produce a very healthy and competitive baby. So that's all nature. It's just nature doing its thing. It's why you don't race off to go have children with a 60-year-old, bald, out of shape, totally broke old man, right? That's why you don't do that. You find him disgusting, and that's because your body's warning you, don't try to have a baby with this guy. It's actually a form of discrimination, actually. Your body's discriminating. So your brain is discriminating against this man and saying, he's bad, genetically, and you could pick somebody with better genes. So that's what your brain's doing, is it's actually discriminating against someone based on their genetic appeal. It's kind of interesting when you break it down and think about it more. Yeah. Step 1, your brain wants you to get pregnant. Step 2, your brain wants you to get pregnant with somebody of high quality genes. Oh my god. Nice Darwinism lecture. It's not Darwinism. All the stuff I've said is pretty much just a fact. I mean, it's not like a political ideology. It's just how it actually is. That's why, when you go on TikTok and you see the e-girls on TikTok, guess what? They're always pretty. They're never like your grandma. They're never your grandma because your brain is part of nature, and it knows that grandma's not going to give you a healthy baby. That's the best thing about nature, actually. The best thing about nature is it doesn't have a political spin. It's just nature. Oh, no. We're just out of this. If I slashed forward, I would be stuck in the paralysis. There we go. Oops. Yeah, that's the best thing about nature. It doesn't have a political ideology. 1, 2. I've seen 2 pretty people make booty-ass kids who are ugly, says King of Ghost. Really? Because in my experience, I don't think I've ever seen that, actually. I don't think I've ever seen a beautiful couple produce an ugly child. The child almost always looks beautiful like the mom and dad, unless the child had birth defects. That's an exception. David says, I've been in a relationship for 4 years. He's talking to Wallamanga. Emma says, if that were true, wouldn't everyone's brain tell them you need to be attractive and then make you take the steps to appeal to the opposite sex? Well, that essentially is what your brain tells you to do, but you end up with these other brain problems. So one of the things that our ancestors had to do to survive was have enough food so that you didn't starve to death, and so that you had the energy to run away from like a bear, right? So you needed to have the energy to run away from a bear. So your brain tells you, you got to eat sugar, you got to eat sugar, you got to eat fat and sugar and protein and all the things that your body needs for instant energy so that you can escape the bears, right? And our ancestors, the ones who were able to accomplish this, they were able to eat the foods that gave them a lot of energy. They would then escape the bears. In the future, you don't need to run away from bears. In the future, we're all sedentary. So you actually need very little fat, very little sugar. You do need some fat, but you don't need as much as we eat today. You don't need processed food. You definitely don't need flour. And we eat those anyways because we're still running off of those very old primitive scripts in our brains. And you run into this paradox where you eat so much that you become unattractive to other people. Isn't that funny? So it's a matter of your brain prioritizing one thing over the other. Your brain prioritizes eating over being sexually attractive, and this becomes, especially it becomes an issue as you go older because your body doesn't have the same metabolism that it used to have. Let's go update this charm. What are we talking about? We are talking about brain stuff. See you later, fan. Fan's perspective. Perspective. Let's go ahead and upgrade this charm. Nice. We got it all the way to the end. We're done with the shock charm. No scatternut November. What about half a scatternut? Oh, right. I didn't update the title for Twitch. Lewd Justice, we changed it to no Blastnut September. We have an empty slot there. These need to be done. Windproof charm is Paolumu. It's not a big priority for me, actually. Here, I'm actually going to delete Windproof and Ironside. These are not big priorities to me. These charms are big priorities. Let's check out other charms. Let's get the best charms. Windproof, water. Wait, isn't it supposed to tell me I already have the... Oh, these are resistance. Okay, good. Very good. Venom, Immobilize, Trank, KO, Enervate, Artillery, Hungerless, Guard, Wide Range, Item Prolonger, Speed Eating, Divine Blessing, Palico Rally. Let's get a good one. Fortify. Imagine needing that charm. That must be sad. Here we go. Ice Attack. Yes. Crit Eye. We don't have the Crit Eye charm. Yes. Evade Window. I would say yes to Evade Window. It's not like a big priority, but I do like Evade Window. Dragon Attack is a big priority. Blast Attack, Crit Draw, Special Ammo Boost. We already have Constitution, it seems. Fade Extenders only gets to level 3, huh? Bombardier, Mushroom Answer, Free Element Ammo Up. We've already started those. Earplugs. I do like to have earplugs. Weakness Exploits already made. Here's Part Breaker. I don't think we need Part Breaker. Resentment is valuable these days. Heroics. I'll take Heroics. Why not? Tool Specialist. You know, I don't mind having Tool Specialist with me. Agitator. There's a big deal. So add that to the wish list. Agitator's a big deal. Max Might. Flinch Free. Effluvia Resist. Normal Shots. Crit Boost. Nah. Not too concerned about that one. We'll eventually get those decorations and then it won't matter. And Offensive Guard. We won't need that either because Dual Blades Bow and Longsword, none of those use shields. Noobs for Breakfast says, imagine being shorter than 6 foot. I know, right? You might as well buy yourself a pair of stilts. Actually, you know what we didn't do correctly? We should have started upgrading all these charms that we just created. Gameconomist, there's a spot in the session open. I left. Someone should join. Nice, Trent. Thanks for letting us know. Category. Charms. Okay. So let's see. Wide range. Handicraft. What do we need for attack boost? We don't even know. We don't know that one. I'm sure it comes after like level 70. Focus, Constitution, Guard, Ice Attack. Okay, how about Ice Attack? Legiana Gem, huh? We can get that one worked on right away. Crit Eye, Odogaron Gem. We can get that one worked on. We got a bunch of Gold Wyverian prints. Dragon Attack. We can work on that one as well. We got a bunch of Gold Wyverian prints. Earplugs. All right, take earplugs to 2. Take earplugs to 3. And we're not ready to take it to 4. We don't have those materials. Resentment is a Nurgi gem. Heroics is a Daora gem and tail, actually. And Tool Specialist is a Teostra gem. Is that all? I think that's all, huh? Yeah, it's fun talking about all that psychology stuff. Sexuality is just your brain trying to get you pregnant. In the end, that's all it really is. It seems awesome because your brain makes it awesome. That's what it does. What did we need? I know we needed an Otogaron gem. Let's start there. Start with the Otogaron. Look how many gold Wyverian prints we have. I tell you what, let's stand here and go through the wish list. We should be able to buy throwing knives in this game. I agree. I agree. Start your quest with the throwing knife, right? So, Nergi gem. Legiana gem. Nergi, Legiana. Valhazak. 2 Nergi. Do'Ura. And Teostra. So a lot of Elder Dragon, actually. Okay, there's our Nergi gems. Guess I'm a misogynist. What's a misogynist? Do you mean misogynist? Teostra. I hate labels. Yeah, everyone's got a label for everything. I don't hate them, but I'm very weary of them. I think that labels are often a way to try and form people. So I'm very sensitive to that. I pay a lot of attention to it. My ears hear it very sensitively, like my ears hear the label. Raytheon, Zura, and it thinks about the implications of the label. Labels are often just very short arguments. That's what a label often is. Like if I were to call you depressed, that's a label, right? But actually what's packed into that term is, I believe that you're having this problem where you're sad and you're stuck sad, right? So there's sort of an argument presented in the word depressed. Some people say I'm depressed. It's a label, right? But they're describing a problem in one word. So it's an interesting thing. Upgrade equipment. Water attack, fire attack, handicraft, wide range. Yeah, so I'm always very, very aware of those kind of things. What? I'm not going to upgrade the defense boost. Focus. Oh, we can actually get the focus, huh? Constitution, we're still waiting on parts. We don't care about guard. Ice attack. Legiana gem. Okay, we missed one. Here's the Otogaron gem. Now we need a brutal bone. Okay. Worm's Bane charm. Now I need a Zenjiva gem. Nergigante gem for resentment. Looks like we need guiding lance parts for the next level. We need Daura tail, and we need to. Okay, we'll take maintenance to level 2. Now we need a Val charm. So gem. So Val gem, Legiana gem. What other gems do we need? Legiana gem, brutal bone, Zena gem. I had to break up with my girlfriend for this month. That sucks. Oh, it's no November joke. I took you seriously. Thought you actually had a breakup. Ah. Alright, so here's our 1 Zenjiva gem. I can't remember if we needed Daura. I don't think we did. No, we didn't. But what we did need is Legiana. Huh, I guess that Hunter Helper stuff did help us in the end. And because all these gold Wyverian prints were actually very useful for making the charms. Legiana, Otogaron. There was one more. I can't remember now. Was it Val? I don't remember. We got Zenjiva. I think it was Val. We'll find out in a minute. It was a joke. It works better if you say it out loud. Is Pamela Henderson. Ah, Val gem. Okay, it was Val that we were missing. Okay, here we go. Dragon Attack 3. Now we need Ebony Otogaron Mantle and Soul Rend Talon. Alright, so we're going to save that. How about Crit Eye? Brutal Bone, right. Alright, so here's Ice Attack 2. Ice Attack 3. Oh, snap. So we need Legiana Mantle and Smooth Ice Hide. Frost Charm's a priority. All right, so we've made some progress on these charms. Let's go ahead and save that. That was all a bunch of work there. And let's go grab that. We'll go ahead and grab the Val gem real fast. So you just get that maintenance charm out of the way. Look at that. I got one more gold Wyverian print left. Can you see what materials I need for Lunastra Zenitjiva Master Rank upgrades? Yeah, you need to go fight Tempered Lunastra. Very likely. Tempered monsters in the Guiding Lands will give you what you want. Here we are. Maintenance charm is done. Now we need a Dora gem and 2 Dora tails. Maybe we'll pick up the gem anyways when we're going for the tails. This is for heroics. I'm actually going to remove heroics. I don't see myself using it too often. I think we'll end up using agitator actually. Yeah, I don't think heroics was needed. That's why I kind of held off on it. So brutal bone. That's important. The crit eye is important. If anyone gets the name, we are friends instantly. What are you talking about? We're at Master Rank 62. That's because we haven't been fighting anything in the Master Rank, so we're not leveling up. Which is funny because that's what we're supposed to be doing right now. But all that's about to change. So let's see. Wait, the Challenger Charm. I thought we already crafted Challenger Charm. I'm sorry. Nope. Let's go ahead and forge equipment. Charms. Challenger Charm's important to me. Where the frick is it? Here it is. Alright, so there's Agitator 1. Where would it be now? Where would it be now? Do-do-do-do-do. Where would it be? Okay, category. Charms. Here it is. Nergigante gem again, dude. So many Nergi gems. Alright, we're gonna use our last gold Wyverian print because I actually really value the Agitator Charm. I think it's one of the best raw weapon charms that you can have. It's the Agitator Charm. It just pairs so well with the Nergi weapons. Do 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 do, Scooby Dooby Doo. Morning from South Africa. How's it going in South Africa? How is it going? I don't know much about South Africa. Is it a nice place to live? You tell me. Let's upgrade. Alright, Agitator 2. Upgrade. Ah, here we go. So it looks like we need the Brachydios Pallium and some parts from the Guiding Lands that we're not aware of. Perfect. South African Chads. Do you guys pay low taxes there? There's a good question. Or is it high taxes? See, I wouldn't even know that. Is that regular Legiana? I think that's like low rank Legiana. Soul Render Talon. Where does that come from? Oops. No, no, no. Okay. Guiding Lands as well. How about this one? Brutal Bone. Let's look up that Brutal Bone. Alright. I'm jumping over here. I'm going to go do a search for Brutal Bone. And let's see what Monster Hunter has to say about the Brutal Bone. Where does it come from? Can be obtained from the Elder's Recess. Okay, so that's what we're doing next. We are jumping over to the Elder's Recess. How long has the stream been going on, by the way? 2 hours and 26 minutes. We're going to keep it going. Probably high rank Elder's Recess, if I had to guess. Low taxes here in Singapore, says Aaron Kumar. Really? I'm going to look that up. Singapore levies taxes on corporate profits at a flat rate of 17% and on a progressive rate for individual income ranging from 0 to 22%. Why is Singapore a tax haven? All companies, regardless of industry, have a legal duty to pay taxes. Singapore attracts investments from around the world by reducing its corporate income tax and introducing different tax incentives. Wow, it's almost like if you create rules that lower taxes, you can compete with countries that have high taxes. So it's a competition to offer the most for your citizens at the lowest tax rate. How can I avoid paying taxes in Singapore? What are the taxes in Singapore? Oh, is it crashing? Oh, there it goes. What are the taxes in Singapore? There's no capital gain or inheritance tax. Damn. I'm moving to Singapore, guys. Dang, dude. Man, I'll keep that in my mind because that is a very good selling point. Can you get help with high-rank arch-tempered Val Hazak? I could get help with it. Are you asking if you could get help with it? Is that what you're actually asking? Because if you're asking for that, I am definitely busy. Wait. There's a bone right in the middle over here. What am I doing with my life? King of Ghosts says, no taxes here in Antarctica. Oh, well, you know, I can live anywhere with an internet connection, so... Antarctica. Jeez Louise. But you got internet. That's the only way you're talking to me. Quality bone. Quality bone. Quality bone. Wow, that's some quality bones. I feel boned. Let's jump over to the eastern camp real fast. You have to tolerate 30 plus degrees year-round Singapore. Is that hot? I don't know what that means. I like cold climates. I don't know if that's a hot or a cold climate you're describing. Miggle's like, yes, I need help. Paying all my money as taxes in Chicago. Yep. Good thing the government puts it to good use, right? Oh, it doesn't, though. It rarely does. It always wastes some. It always wastes some and is always ready to take more. Bluch. You know what I have to say to that? That sounds like bluch. That sounds like big booty bluch. Thinking of where the bones are. Where are the bones? Oh, I know where there are some bones. We're going to go over here. I like it when government does things right. I just feel like... yeah. Maybe it's better in other countries. I think America in particular is pretty bad. If you like cold, you'll love Antarctica. I do like the chill. I like the chilliness. Do you have a fire or dragon weapon? No. I have a... actually, I do have a dragon weapon. The Shara Ishval, the longsword, is a dragon weapon, but you have to unlock it. How's it going? I can't say your name. I don't know how to pronounce it. He says hello. I would say your name otherwise. Devil Joe footprint. Uragon rut. That sounds like a big butt. Alright, here are some bones. We're looking for that brutal big bone. I'll give you a brutal big bone. Quality bone. Did we have this problem before? Were we looking for brutal bones last time and we found out... no, they were just hard to come by. I remember now. They just took us a while, I think. I'm trying to remember. We had some problems with this before, I think. I could have sworn we did this not too long ago. Hold on. We'll go up here and grab this kitty cat. Oh, look at this. Look at that ladybug. Yeah, you better get your booty over here. Talk to this guy. Alright. Perfect. Imagine selling Kulturot weapons without waiting for the upgrades. I know what you're saying. You know, I probably should grab these two. Oh, I don't care. We'll do it another time. There's probably ingredients I'm still missing for the canteen on this account, if I'm being honest. So let's see. I've grabbed two of the bones that I know about. Where else are there bones on this map? I'm trying to think. I believe there's bones up by the basil nest. I believe that's accurate. Let's go up there. How's it going, Tinto? Aren't the Brutal Bones in the Wildspire Waste? No, the Brutal Bones said they were in the Elder's Recess. You guys can check for me if you want on the Wikipedia, but that I was just on the Wikipedia. It said Elder's Recess. What's the quickest way to level the volcanic region all the way up? There's actually a trick where you and 4 friends can spam traps on a monster, and this will technically be faster than killing the monster. How's it going, Tinto? Tinto says hello. Hello. Wow, this is the most exciting charm stream you guys have ever watched. We've talked about some interesting subjects, though. It's always fun to talk about stuff, you know? That's how I feel. I like to think about stuff. I like to talk about stuff. Stuff that helps you make predictions about the world. Which way it's going. Quality bone. Quality bone. Brutal bone. See, I told you. Brutal bone's here. We got a brutal bone. Your mom's got a brutal bone. Let's climb up here. Here, we'll just use the map. It's the map, is the map, is the map, is the map, is the map. Gathering. So does it actually show bone piles? Okay, so that's a bone pile. Very good. And there's a bone pile here. Really? Okay. Go to the southern camp. Could you go on any blast build? What? Could I go on any blast build? I don't know. Tinto says, could you go on any blast build? What could you possibly mean by this? Money equals free speech in the US. Agree. That's an odd equation. Money equals free speech. Are you saying that you have to have money in order to speak freely? Is that what you're trying to say? Uh-oh. There we go. Brutal Bone 2. Let's get the frick out of here. Oh, we can't because we're being attacked by the birds. Let's run this way. I certainly think that people with money have more influence. I think a fear that people have is if you have too much money, you have too much influence, and there may be some credit to that. But I also don't think there's ever going to be a case where you can fully stop that. And also, I would also argue the people who are capable of producing a lot of money, they usually do have good ideas about how things should be ran. What you're concerned about is crony capitalism. This is where people take money and they say, I have the money and I'm going to change politics to protect myself. Here's a great example. So, how's it going, Dragon? Dragon says hello. So, let's say you're one of the largest retailers in the world. Your name is Amazon. And you're so big and you're so powerful, you have so much money that you could actually afford to pay your workers more very easily. You can absorb that. And so what you do is you lobby the politicians to raise the minimum wage. Raise it. Why would you raise it? Because you were going to pay your workers more anyways, and you know by raising the minimum wage, you can damage all the retailers who were paying minimum wage. And this would have the government basically shut those competitors down. See? And then you end up controlling the market more. So that would be a case of crony capitalism. Brutal Bone is Elder's Recess. Thank you very much, Lewd Justice. I agree, it's always nice to talk about controversial topics without there being a heated debate. No, your mom gay. Yeah, people get really, they get very passionate about these subjects. They get very passionate. And that's okay. We can agree to disagree, I think, in a lot of cases. I think people get disgusted is actually the word. People get disgusted and they, then they're like, oh, I hate you and I think less of you and we can't be friends because I find you disgusting and wrong. I think that's the issue with a lot of debates. And the most important subjects to talk about often have that problem. Abortion's a great example. You get the Christians really, really, really believe you're murdering someone. So they see your actions as murder. So it's a big deal to them. And then they find it very disgusting. And then it becomes a, quote, hot button issue. All right, so we have this Brutal Bone. Let's go upgrade this charm. Your dad gay. Your uncle a gunkle. Upgrade equipment. And we'll go to the Challenger charm. Is that what? No, we weren't working on that. What were we working on? It's a Crit Eye. Oh, okay, so here we have Crit Eye, but we need another Nergy gem. I didn't know that. Can't we all just get along? Nah. The whole history of the human race has definitely been competition and war. Competition and war. That's because there's limited resources. Simple as that. When there's unlimited resources, maybe we will actually see peace. When there is unlimited resources, we may actually see peace. Until then, we will always be at war. That's my fundamental belief about the world. I don't know about you guys. And I have hopes that humans accomplish this someday. Infinite resources. A point where money doesn't matter anymore, and we can just have whatever it is you need. There's enough food and shelter for all. Food, shelter. I don't think we're anywhere close to that, but until we accomplish that, we will always be fighting. So let's see. We need a Nergi gem in order to work on our crit eye charm. The only problem I have with that is we need to level up our master rank. I tell you guys what, why don't we shift gear? We're going to be working on our decorations. So for the people who are in the session, please post your best purple reward investigations now. I'll go look up mine and I'll share them with you. So we're going to go to manage investigations, special rewards. What do we got? We got a pink Raytheon here. That's a good one. Wait, was that 2 people? Oh, it was 2 people. Never mind. 4 people, 2 people. Ah, the good ones are always 2 people. We're going to drop that. That's a 2 people. Here's Capture Paolumu. Here's a pink Raytheon. We're going to take that one. Here's an Ebony Odogaron. We'll take that one. Tobi Kadashi. Here's a Kirin. We'll take that one. I don't know about Lunastra. I would prefer Kirin, actually. So we'll take this Kirin one as well. No, we should take Lunastra in case we need her parts. So we'll take Lunastra. We'll take Teostra. So we got plenty of these, huh? All right, so I've got all of my special rewards, investigations, and I'll see what you guys have. You guys might have ones that are better than mine. We'll just go with whichever one's better. There's an Uragon with 5 rewards. That's really good. What the hell? Jesus, man. And it's a 4-person quest? That's a really good one. We need the Uragon Pallium anyways for the guard charm. Remember that? So good deal on that. And how many lives is it for this quest? I don't know how many lives it was. You slay a monster with a blaster build with any weapon in order to show how efficient it is. No, we won't be doing that today. Today we're going to be focusing on our charms and leveling up to Master Rank 70. And that means we're going to be continuing to use our Shara Ishvalda longsword. I'm at war with NNN. What? Oh, no, not November. I'm so slow, Emma. You have no idea how dumb I am sometimes. Lude says, how full is the session? Should be full. We can check real fast for you, man. 1 second. Push this button, push this button. 15 out of 16. So it sounds like there's 1 spot open. Lude Justice. I'm pretty dumb sometimes. NNN. I'm like, what the frick is NN? Oh, duh. Just a little bit on the... I'm just getting by, you know. Chris says, how do you feel about a social democratic system like in the Scandinavian countries? Love that you know economics. I just graduated with an economics degree. Well, so Chris, I was originally going to be a finance student because I have a really genuine interest and an enjoyment of finances. And I found myself really, really enjoying economics. It was one of my favorite subjects in school because it didn't just talk about finances. It encompassed a lot of interesting ideas like how do people behave with money? And when you have a lot of people behaving maybe like erratically with money, what does that cause? Other issues like how do you establish a good economy in your country and how do you keep it going? So it's a really great topic. And your question, oh no, that's the, well, this fight just became a solo fight. We just had the Elder's Recess glitch occur. So what is this? Capture Uragon? We'll capture him. We're going to go through with it because we don't want to waste this investigation. It's too good. To answer your question, you know, it's funny. I feel like when it comes to socialist ideas, I think they can work. When it comes to communist ideas, I think they can work as well. I've realized this. Any idea could technically work with the right people. Here's the paradox of people who want welfare and socialism. Here's the paradox. Socialism is not popular among people who are successful. They never ask for it because they don't need it. They're already wealthy. They don't need it. They've already succeeded. they've brought something good to the market, and it came out of the market wealthy, and so they don't need it, and so they don't ask for it. When a lot of people start asking for wealth redistribution, they start asking for housing, they start asking the government to provide jobs, they start asking the government to start providing medicine and retirement and all kinds of things. That happens when you get a lot of people who didn't do that for themselves. They spent more than they earned, they used credit cards, they didn't put any of their money into savings, they didn't buy any stock, they made a lot of bad choices in life. Not everyone. Some people might just have had a lot of misfortune. For example, you might have had an accident or an illness at the age of 25 that just set you back really badly. And so you're asking about the Scandinavian countries, and I think what your real question is, should we increase social welfare programs? That's your real question. Because the truth is, most first world countries already have a lot of social welfare programs. We already have them. If you're really poor in America and you need help with your medicine, we actually have programs for that. You can have your medicine paid for. This is going to suck. Oh, I still got hit. That sucks. So we have welfare programs, and the question is, should we increase them? That's your real question. And I think you run into a very naturally occurring problem where the money has to come from somewhere to pay for it. And this is often what people are bad at. I think this is often what people who are voting are bad at. The money has to come from somewhere. There's no such thing as free healthcare. That's a made-up idea. It's actually not free. It's all paid for. And if you tax people enough, they start to leave. I think that's the very natural problem you run into. Remember, I'm all about just kind of examining things from a natural perspective. If you're an animal in nature, and you're in a social group because you're an animal in nature, and things are going well for you, you don't care. You don't care giving up some resources. But if things are not going so well, and then everyone around you starts telling you, hey, you need to give up your food for my kids, you need to start giving up your stuff for me, this is when the animals start to leave the group and go, nah, I'm going to go be a solitary, alone animal because it doesn't benefit me to stay with you guys. So this is what I think will happen with humans as well. You'll have people who are the smartest with their finances, clever people who actually care a lot about their finances. And what they're going to do is they're going to ask, can I just move next door to this other country and literally pay half the taxes? And the scary issue with that is if they actually do this, and I think they will. I think we saw this in Europe, actually. I think we saw a lot of Europeans leave Europe for America for lower taxes and higher paying jobs. So if enough people in America do this, leave America, where does that leave America? That leaves America with fewer people to tax. The ironic thing is, you have this rich person and you're angry at him for being rich. I hate you. And then he leaves. He goes from paying more taxes than anyone else to paying exactly 0 taxes in your country. He pays no taxes now. He pays it to another country, a competing country, by the way. All countries are always in a competition with each other for talent, for resources, for investment money. You're always in a competition. And if somebody's telling you that you're not, they're lying to you. Probably because they want to win the competition. They don't want competitors. So you're always in a competition, and you're telling people, hey, you've got to pay out so much taxes that now they're going, well, why am I here even? Why am I? So in Scandinavia, I think that social welfare programs being much more expensive than in America, I think it's generally worked for them. But I don't think you guys have some of the same problems that we have in America with, like, for example, in California, we have something called tent city because we have so many poor people in California can't afford housing. We have a place called tent city. In America, we have, is it $23 trillion of debt? We have so much debt in America that I believe it is, I'm trying to remember the term, is it the interest rate versus your GDP? There's this really bad ratio right now where we do not earn enough GDP to, I suppose, sort of justify rationally having so much debt. And yet all we talk about is how do we spend more money, which is really scary. I don't know why all we talk about is how do we spend more money. That's all we talk about. Nobody talks about getting out of debt. The government never talks about getting out of debt. I would like to hear that. I would like to hear the government say, you know what? We can't spend money that we don't own. We have to get out of debt. Sorry if you're poor. And when you take a look at the countries that are doing the best right now, the countries with the largest GDP, you take a look on the map, and it's two countries right now that are blasting all the other countries out by far. It's China and America. China and America. The two countries that are still fairly low tax rates. I don't know how it works in China. They're a communist country, right? But it's more like they're communist politically. They have a communist party, ruling party. But when it comes to their markets, in China, they do actually care about... I'm betting in China they don't have as much welfare programs. All right, so I could be speaking from ignorance here, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. But in China, if you're poor and not doing so well, pretty confident the Chinese government doesn't give two craps about you. They're like, yeah, you're poor. Go figure it out, right? I think that's probably what they tell their poor. They don't have like these amazing welfare nets, and they don't go, oh, we're so sad for you because you're so poor and you have a right to have have a bunch of welfare programs. Probably what's going on in China, they're saying, who has the best talent? All right, you're in the Communist Party, or we'll protect your business and industry because you're important to our country and to our communist regime. And so you have this really funny thing where the West, for such a long time, the UK, Germany, France, we've had this huge lead. Really, we did. We had this really large lead. And here we are in 2019 with China being the second largest economy in the world by a lot. So like the next country, Japan, which this is funny too, like Japan's just this tiny island of people. It's not even that large. Somebody explained to me how Germany's losing to Japan right now. Somebody explain that. Right? Germany's losing to Japan. The UK's not even next to Germany. So, somebody else beats the UK. I can't remember who it is. And I don't know if France is even on the top 10 list anymore. I need to go look that up. So people are like, yeah, we got the free blah, blah, blah and free blah, 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 right? And I think people tend to think about the health of their country in terms of essentially like something simplistic, like, oh, how much healthcare do we get? Or something like that. Something very simplistic that doesn't necessarily look at the greater picture. A greater picture is who's going to be the world power in 5 years? Who's going to call the shots in the world? You know, we do a lot of stuff militaristically around the world. America does. Not always good, obviously. Some really stupid stuff. But we do stuff like try to stop rogue countries from proliferating nuclear warheads. That's a pretty big deal. And it seems like we have less and less control over that as time goes by. You know, when we try to put pressure on a rogue country by putting sanctions on that country, it doesn't seem to work. You want to know why that is? Because that country can just sell things to China. They just sell things to China, buy things from China, Russia, whoever else America doesn't get along with well. And so, you know, the West's control over the world, in my perspective, is greatly diminished by the fact that China is so strongly successful. They're still a communist regime, and it turns out probably what mattered most about your economic power in your country had to do with whether or not you let people of real talent go into the market and compete, just like nature would have had you do. Nature would have had you do the same thing. I don't think the Chinese government really cares about equity. I don't think the Chinese government cares about social identity, sexual identity. They probably don't care about anything except for defeating all the other countries economically. That's probably the one thing the communist regime cares about, if I had to guess. And democracy is supposed to defeat that. So why are all these countries like Germany and Japan as well, why are they all being beaten by China then? Is China cheating? And I would argue it's not. There's no such thing as cheating in the real world. There's no such thing as cheating. It's just winning and losing. And yeah, it's a lot of interesting things to think about, really. People are so obsessed with ideas like, oh, well, do we provide health care for the poor? It's like, oh, well, will we be around in 100 years? That's a better question. What if we actually have a war with a country that doesn't like us? The human race, almost the most predictable thing about the human race is that we go to war, right? We have very short lives. We live for like 70 years, right? But the human race has been going on for a while. So when you look through the history books, even if in your lifetime there's been a lot of peace, the reality is we'll probably move on to a giant war. And the question is who's going to be winning that war, because it's going to make a big difference in the quality of the lives of the people that come afterwards who wins it. And this is not like fear-mongering. This is actually far-sightedness. It's far-sightedness to question what will happen when China defeats America because America has too much debt, America has too much, America becomes another socialist utopia, another socialist utopia, and then we become the world's second most powerful economy, and China suddenly becomes the world's greatest economy. What will actually happen to the rest of the world when that happens? And America's got like this insane debt. Like, what happens when the rest of the world is like, I don't know if you guys are going to pay that back? So, when it comes to comparing ourselves to the Scandinavian countries, I think that the deeper question is how much welfare is the right amount of welfare? And a lot of my beliefs around that are, well, how willing are people to spend or give their money in the form of taxes away to your government? That's the deeper question, is how much taxes is too much taxes? It will cause people to leave. That's my biggest concern. What will cause people to leave, actually? There could be a point in time in the future where your smartest, most innovative people in the whole world go, I'm moving to China. China taxes me less, and they have more opportunity. Isn't that crazy? China is the second largest economy. They're just one very homogenous country of Chinese people. It's not a lot of, I don't think, I could be wrong about this. Not a lot of diversity in China, if I had to guess. Not a lot of diversity. So can you even imagine how far ahead they're going to be if they ever reach a point of success where they have brain drain, where they have people leaving America to go to China because the opportunities are better? What would even happen? They would just become the most powerful country in the world by far. It won't even be close anymore. Because right now America really benefits from this idea of brain drain. People come here the brightest. They go, I'm good at something. I'm better than people at something. And I want to go to the country where I'll be paying the least taxes and having the best business. If that were ever to change, it's so over. Your country will fall so far behind China, and China will have very different political beliefs. China doesn't actually believe necessarily in democracy. The quality of life will change dramatically. So, yeah, I never see, when it comes to politics, I feel like a lot of politics boils down to, yeah, I'm a Bernie bro or something like that, right? Very simplistic, maybe thoughts that lack a lot of prediction, a lot of thorough thinking, because it's very easy to just fall into one group or the other and be like, this sounds good, that sounds bad. But one of the things I liked most about economics is you're supposed to be looking at the relationships of what happens with money and what happens when people make decisions with their money, right? And when a lot of people make the decision to leave because your economics are bad in your country, your economic opportunities are bad in your country, this becomes a very serious problem for your country. And I think when it comes to welfare programs, that's the biggest question. How much can you tax without getting people to leave? So you're not really worried about the poor people leaving, right? I mean, they're poor. They're not the people who are making your country wealthy. It's actually the money earners, the people who create the jobs and the innovation. So, for example, Google was working on their quantum computing, which is a really big deal. Quantum computing's huge. Quantum computing, it's funny because earlier in the stream I was talking about how necessary passwords are for the internet to work. In quantum computing, what it's basically going to do is force mathematicians to come up with a new equation so that we can have internet security, but it's not necessarily clear what those new equations will be based off of, because quantum computers, the whole point of them is that they're able to do far more complex math problems. What's the correct term? Exponential math problems that would have taken a binary computer millions of years to work on. Well, these new quantum computers, in theory, in the future, when they're really good, they'll be able to handle those equations in a more reasonable amount of time, and all of the internet security will fail at that point. You better believe China's working on it, and Russia's working on it, and every country that hates America is working on this, because whoever figures it out is going to be able to hack everyone else's computers, which is a very big deal. That is a crazy big deal, which means every country is working on every serious country is working on their version of a quantum computer, as well as the mathematical formulas that will protect the security of their internet from being hacked by a quantum computer. And it's just like, people don't really think a great deal about this kind of stuff and how it will affect their country. And we have Google here in America. We have one of the best companies in the world right here in America, Google, full of the brightest minds, hopefully, working on quantum computing. And if America, remember the World Wars, what a big deal it was for America to discover the uranium bomb or whatever first, the nuclear bomb first. It was a big deal for them to do that before anyone else did. And it's kind of the same way with a lot of things in the world. We were the first ones to have Google. That's a huge deal economically for America. If that were to ever change, you'll see how quickly you fall into second place, third place, fourth place. You know, situation that Germany's in right now, situation that Japan's in right now, a situation that the UK's in right now. And Americans have never had to face this. Americans have never known what it's like to be the second country, right? We've always been first by a large sweeping margin, but we've never been to second place. And China's close. China's actually quite close, guys, to defeating America, to becoming the greatest world power economically. It's actually quite close. And we depend on Google to actually develop this quantum computer. It's not the brilliant minds in the government that are creating Google. Yeah, because people don't go into the government if they're brilliant. They go to Google if they're brilliant. So we're depending on places like Google to create these softwares, these hardwares. And if it were to one day be China, where all the most brilliant people in the world go to, yeah, it's like it's hard to describe how bad that will be for your country. Are we going to fail this by running out of time? It's because I'm talking. Alright, so he's not ready to be captured yet. Look, I have a mantle. I'm not even using it. Let's put on our mantle. If you were to simply ask me, do I think America should be like Scandinavia and offer higher welfare? I'd say no. I think the number one reason why America holds on to its position in the world is because we still do actually tell people you succeed if you're the smartest, you get to pay less taxes, and you get to be wealthy and live insanely wealthy and keep your money to yourself rather than giving it to other people. And you can still give your money to other people charitably, but the government doesn't take it from you, right? And maybe to somebody who's for welfare, they don't appreciate how important that is for somebody who's not for welfare. Okay, so if you're conservative with your money and you believe in controlling your own money and giving it less to your government, your government that can't stop spending, your government that has $22 trillion of debt larger than the GDP, right? So somebody who's very for welfare might not appreciate that, but it's such a big deal. You're really talking about the risk of losing that person to another country is what you're talking about. And it's funny because we were talking about Singapore earlier. I wasn't joking. I'm actually interested in moving to a country with lower taxes. I'm actually thinking actively about that. My job is a kind of job where I can move very easily. And so, I don't plan on stopping. And so one of the questions me and my wife, because she's a software engineer, so she can move around too. So we're two people who you would probably want in your country. We're offering very good skilled kind of labor, like good jobs. My kind of job, basically, it just adds a job to your economy, right? It just adds a taxpayer to your economy. I'm not stealing a job from anyone in Singapore if I move to Singapore. And I'm looking at the place that offers the best quality of living with the most freedoms. And the sad thing is, I'm questioning if that's going to be America in 10 years. Because I tend to think long range. Will that be America in 10 years? And I don't know. When I hear about stuff like, oh, we need to be like Scandinavia, I go, well, if we were going to be like Scandinavia, I would actually just move to Scandinavia. Isn't that funny? Scandinavia, I think, is probably already a nicer place to live with fewer conflicts between special interest groups. We're about to lose. All right, let's go ahead and try for the capture. Yeah, I would just move to Scandinavia at that point. Oh, no. Come on, Tigrix. No, I'm going to lose to Tigrix? Are you kidding me? Dude, Tigrix, get out of here. Oh my god, I had 2 shock traps. And we didn't do enough damage to capture anyways. Oh, no, man. This is a loss. Out of time. Wow, we weren't doing any damage. What the frick? Wow. It's because I was talking the whole time. What a waste. Wow. But yeah, the funny thing is, if I wanted to pay high taxes, I would move to Scandinavia, is what I would do. I can't believe we lost still. How much damage were we doing? Like 10 damage? Jesus Christ. I guess he was tempered though, right? While among goes Omega lol. Mr. Uragon has elder levels of health. Ryu Boo says, I am waiting for Iceborne right now. I use dual blades, light, and high bowgun. What weapons are best to build now to prep for it? Okay, so what I would tell you is I'd probably just well, let me think about it. See, I've been telling people to use the bone shooter, the bone heavy bow gun, and just use normal ammo on the bone light bow gun, heavy bow gun. But I'm questioning that. I think that wyvern ammo is actually really decent too. Bring the heavy bow gun so you can talk and succeed, lol. I know, right? Like, the heavy bow gun would have been better than this. It's funny, we didn't die. We just, I guess, weren't dealing enough aggressive damage to him. Let's join another quest. What a big flop. That's a huge waste of time. What does he have, like 1,000,000 health or something? Frick that, dude. Jesus Christ. Russell says conservatives are having kids while progressives aren't. That's actually not true. A lot of these views are hurting Americans will swing back to more conservative views. That's actually not true. The people who are having children are actually immigrants. Immigrants coming from other countries, and statistically, immigrants are most likely to vote to the left. Yeah, so the immigrants have the most children. Specifically, if you were to actually look, I believe it goes, the Mexicans are having by far the most children at like 5 to 6 children, followed by black people. And black people vote something like 90% to the left, and the Mexicans vote, I think it's like 70% to the left. So it's actually not true at all. Conservatives are not having children. Oh, there's a feline insurance, and we didn't pick it up. I probably should have eaten feline safeguard. Change equipment. Wait, we don't have Rocksteady. Ah, darn it. Yep. It's one of the reasons why you see the it's one of the reasons why you see, what do they call it? I don't even know what's the word when you talk about like the ethnic ratio in your communities. They call it I can't remember the word. The population is changing, essentially. Russell says, as a black man, I'll tell you the black voting is abysmal. Thought there was like a crazy, I could be remembering this wrong. I thought there was a crazy statistic that said like black women vote 98% to the left. I was like, wow, that's really steep. Like they're very certain of what they want. They're very certain of what they want. I was really surprised by that. And actually, in general, women vote more to the left. So even white women voted like 60-something% to the left, whereas white men voted like 60-something% to the right, to the conservatives. So if you're a man, there is a much better chance that you're a conservative, and women, there's a much better chance that you're a liberal. Which kind of makes sense, I guess, because the liberals represent like feminism and everything like that. I guess that's like their party, basically, right? All right, let's see. We already have a meal? We already had a meal. Demographics, that's the word. Thank you. Yeah, the demographics. The demographics show that the Hispanics are becoming like a really... Are they going to beat... I think the Hispanics are going to beat out like blacks if they haven't already... I'm going to look it up. See, now I'm curious. I don't even remember. Demographics, America. Demography... Wait, is that a word? Is that how you pronounce it? Demography? Okay, so America is expected... Whites are expected to become less than 50% of the population by 2045. And Hispanics accounted for 48% of the national population growth between 2005 and 2006. That was actually a long time ago. So the numbers could have even gotten much larger, because that's kind of how it works. Yeah, go learn the Fibonacci sequence. You'll learn very quickly how having children affects things very rapidly. I finally got the Garuga quest yesterday and spent 15 minutes just to search for him in the Grinding Lands. They are heavy democratic. Yeah. I've heard theories about that. I've heard theories like And these are not necessarily things I agree with. They're just things I've heard, okay? But I've heard that women are more likely to vote for welfare because they're like naturally inclined to do that to make sure that they're basically securing resources for themselves and their children. Remember earlier in the stream we were talking, somebody mentioned that one of the things women find attractive about men is their wallet. And this is something we all just kind of understand. We all kind of know this is true. If you're, like a dirt poor male, women are not going to like you as much as if you're like a successful entrepreneur. They're going to be like, oh, that's hot, right? So I think the theory I read is that women are more likely to vote for welfare in their country to make sure that the government, if men won't take care of their children, they make sure that the government takes care of their children. So I read that somewhere, and it sounded reasonable. I just don't have any evidence for it. It sounded believable as all. It's actually very interesting, right? You wouldn't expect people's gender to affect how they vote, but actually it's exactly like that. It's exactly like that. There's always this, for example, I don't remember what the ratio of black men to black women were for voting, but I think for the black men it was closer to like 80% voted to the left. But that's actually quite, there's a much larger fraction than between the black men and the black women in that case. That's actually it was like a larger difference than the white men and the white women. The white men and the white men, women tended to vote like closer to each other, but there was a larger difference between black men and black women because the black women, they just voted like completely to the left. It was like 98%. It was really large. It's funny when you get into like a lot of the data that Pew Research will make available or something like that. It helps you. It almost like tells a little bit of a story of what's going on in your country. The story that scares me more than anything, obviously, is our national debt, though. It's national debt, and not a single one of our politicians talks about how they're going to reduce our national debt. Which is just absolutely nuts to me. Absolutely nuts to me that we don't talk about it. We should be talking about it all the time. We should be obsessed with reducing it before it becomes such a big problem that we can't afford it. But all our politicians do is spend. That's all they do. I think they found out that people vote for you if you spend money on them. I think that's what they found out. So we have ourselves to blame a little bit. Oh, he's just licking his paws. I wanted it. Nice. Many don't think for themselves. It's just the system's gonna hold you down. Yeah. Yeah. I think one of the things I've always avoided doing is feeling like a victim. So for me, I was homeless by 17. I had really, really, really bad parents. And here I am with my college degree. I'm married. I have a career on YouTube. If I didn't have a career on YouTube, I could be a software engineer pretty easily, or something similar. I could probably be a video editor at this point if I wanted to. So I've reached a point of great success in my life, and I definitely did not ask for help at any point. I didn't receive, I didn't really receive any government help at all. It just kind of worked really, 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 really hard. And here I am successful, and I can feel good about myself, and that's about it. Which is all you really have in life, you don't really have anything else. You got like your self-esteem, self-esteem, meaning, purpose, stuff like that. Those are those really large abstract ideas. But it's like, I don't want to rely on other people to succeed for me. I just kind of want to do it on my own, and that's very important to me. I don't want to rely on the government to pay for my things for me to succeed. I want to be, you know why? Because it actually feels like the government owns you a little bit at that point. I don't want anyone to own me. And that's very important to me. So I don't want people to give me their money unless I'm in such a desperate situation that unless the government taxes you, I die, right? And I was in some pretty desperate situations. There were some really bad times for me, but it was never that desperate. Just wasn't. I live in a first world country, and there's opportunities for you if you go out and just don't commit any crimes and just work incredibly hard. Wake up in the morning. It's weird, humans, a lot of the times, most of your problems is you're in a competition with yourself to follow the rules and do what you know you're supposed to do. Isn't that weird? Humans have a lot of trouble doing what we're supposed to do. I don't know why. So why do you eat cookies? Cookies have zero nutritional value. Zero. There's not one reason to eat them. But it's like they taste good. Right? So it's so weird. We know what we're supposed to do. We just never do it. It's really hard. It's really difficult. You know you're supposed to do your math homework. You just don't. You get off and you play video games. You watch the GameConomist stream. You know what I mean? That's what you do. You end up messing around. But you knew how to succeed at the math test. There was no mystery to it. Staying thin. There's no mystery to staying thin. Stop eating so much. That's all these diets and all these whatevers. It's like actually really uncomplicated. You just stop eating so much crap, so much garbage, and you will stay thin. And we all know this, but we're also bad at it. Everyone, we're all very bad at this. There's exceptions. Some people are quite good at it naturally, but the vast majority of people are just very bad at this. But it's not complicated. And yeah, it just seems like a lot of our human problems just come down to our inability to do what we know we should do, right? Inability to do what we already know works. We know what works. We don't follow it. Nice, good job. I was hoping somebody would do that. Yeah, it's really strange. Makes me wonder if in the future we'll have like a psychology pill for willpower. Ooh. Psychology pill for willpower. What would that be like? Wouldn't that be crazy? Imagine if you had to do your math homework and you could just do it. No struggle with your willpower. But it's weird because willpower is all about the struggle, isn't it? That's what willpower is. It's all about the struggle with yourself. While Among Us says it's just that we're lazy. Or depressed, or anxious, or we're preoccupied, or we're addicted, been abused maybe. It's all kinds of, there's like millions of excuses. There's millions of reasons why, but in the end, if you don't believe that you can actually make choices on your own, if you don't believe that, you're going to be stuck never growing, you know what I mean? You actually have to believe that you can have some control over yourself, because if you don't believe that, you're fundamentally always going to be stuck. You're always only going to be as good as the people who are controlling you. And usually people control you for one reason. They're not trying to save you. They're usually after your money. Because that's what we all want. We all want more money. We want more stuff. It's the main thing that drives us. More money means more sex partners. It means more children. It means more houses, more food, more freedom. Everyone always wants your money. Everyone. Always wants your money. It's an awful thing, actually. It's an awful thing that's very easy to... it's very easy to miss that that's what people really want. They always want your money. We're not so shameful about asking for it these days either. We're just like, I deserve it. I deserve it. I'm not ashamed to ask for that at all. And it's like, I don't think it used to be that way. I think people had a better sense of territory in the past. I think people understood, hey, I didn't do any of the work for that money. It's not mine. But I don't know. It's like gone now. People don't have that shame at all almost. Hey, look at this. Brute Tigrex. Frick yeah, dude. Yeah. Sucks. We'll always depend on each other for things. People build infrastructure. People teach. Nothing can exist without everything else. So life is systemic, depending on others. Ah, yes. So this is the society argument. Humans are fundamentally a social animal. We come together. We build civilizations. Right. But the thing is, what is happening at the root of the human being? Do you create this civilization in order to serve everyone else, or do you create it to serve yourself? If you're very religious, if you're like Christian, you actually do believe in creating it for everyone else, right? But I think that as more people become non-religious, they'll actually realize it was always about establishing a place for yourself to live in. And you realize you don't actually have to help people. You don't actually have to be nice to them. You can actually just move to the neighborhood with the most wealthy people in it and not have to rely on paying for other people. This is, I suspect this is one of, so I was talking about being able to predict things. This is one of my predictions. People are clever. We have the internet now. We can look at metrics. We can see how things are changing very easily. We can look at human behavior and we can get out of being religious. So we don't have to believe in helping others. It was always just something that you believed, and you can always change your beliefs. So I think as more people get clever about this, you will see this avoidance of helping the poor, and instead you'll see a migration of the wealthy. That's my prediction. They'll be like, wait a second, this doesn't have to be my community. I can just go to the next one. And also, I think that's kind of what you see from the poor too. I think the poor go, why would I stay here and work on my community when I can go over to a wealthy one and receive a lot of welfare benefits? So you will see this constant fluctuation of people moving between places to avoid each other or to gain welfare. I was reading an article about how the New York, the most indebted state in all of America is California. It has a huge population. The second most indebted state in America is New York. So those two states have the highest debt of any state in the country. And they have a massive homeless problem. Both states do. It's really interesting because I was reading recently that New York has a new policy where they deal with their homeless by exporting them. They just get rid of them. I was like, you figured it out. Just get rid of your homeless. That is, in fact, it's probably going to be the most effective thing they've ever done. Just get rid of them. And so New York has this thing going on now where they will pay you money if you're homeless to leave New York. They give you money. I think they give you 1 year's rent to leave to another state. Very clever. Very clever. You just get rid of them. Very clever. I was like, wow, that seems oddly anti-immigration of you. It's like you just export the people you don't like. Just get rid of them. Exporting homeless. Yeah. Yes, it's very interesting. It's very interesting. And I actually think, I hear about policies that I don't think will work, but I actually think that policy will work really well. I actually do believe in that. When you move people around, you just tell them to go away. It sounds heartless, and it probably is, and it works really well. Like breaking up. It's like having trouble with your partner. You could try to change them. You could try to go through couple therapy. You can do all this stuff. Or you can just say, toodaloo, I'm out of here. It just works surprisingly well to do that. Chris says, I've heard the same thing, but for other states to California and New York. Russell says, Cali has like 1/3 of the welfare consumption. Also, apparently those homeless are just going right back. Well, maybe there's one of the problems. How would you stop them from coming back, It's kind of interesting, isn't it? How would you stop homeless people from going from one state to another state? You will have to create some system where they're not allowed to come back. And that would be unusually undemocratic of them. Illiberal? Is that the right word? That's ironically unprogressive of them to get rid of their homeless and then to try and stop them from coming back. But maybe they'll give up on the policy before trying to stop them. Toodaloo, I'm out of here. Chip them like animals. What? Oh, God. No. Don't chip people. What the hell? That's crazy talk. Maybe the future will be like that, though. Maybe we'll have, like, cell phones that we put under our skin. Who knows? Who knows? Let's make a Black Mirror episode out of it. Band-aids on top of Band-aids. Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. Doing a big circle back to that whole issue about the Scandinavian countries. I started that part of the stream by talking about how I actually do believe that you can have communism and you can have socialism succeed in your country. But I think it has everything to do with who's actually in your country. So my whole point of that was, if you got a group of 10 millionaires and you put them in the same, let's say, country together, and they constitute the entire country, just the 10 of them, they could have communism. They're wealthy. They don't give a shit. They could have socialism because nobody's going to be buying each other things. They've already got millions of dollars. And so, ironically, the issue of communism and socialism seem to crop up not when you're in a good position to take care of people, but often when you are in a bad position to take care of people. Socialism is most demanded by people who cannot take care of themselves. That's where most of the demand comes from. Like, what if you could do this in America? Maybe we could have the rules work like this. We could have two tax brackets. One tax bracket will be for people who believe in democratic, whatever, wealth redistribution, welfare programs. So one group can go into there and pay more taxes. Then we will have a second tax bracket for people who don't believe in socialism, and they can opt to stay in that lower tax bracket. And you know, the funny thing is, everyone who wants money will go into the high tax bracket and realize there's no one paying for them, because all the people who have the money to actually pay for you, they will move over to the tax bracket where they pay less taxes, which is part of the reason why they're wealthy, because they understand taxes. They took the time to understand it. They took the time to understand how to buy stock and how to not spend so much money. They took time to understand those things. Should be what I encourage for all of you guys. You should go learn how to get wealthy. It's really good. I want all you guys to be wealthy so that you can send me snacks. Everyone in my audience should be millionaires. Remember me when I'm an old man, and I need my third hip replacement. King of Ghosts says, make them fight 3 Kushalas at the same time with melee weapons. I think anyone would bolt. Oh no. They'd be like, we're out of here. We can't handle this. NFL owners is a great example of rich socialism. Also the Great Recession. What? Let's go this way. That is a bug right there. Okay, that did not work. By the way, I want to clarify, I do actually agree with having a welfare system in our country. I do believe that the government can serve a purpose of helping people with welfare. It's just a question of how much welfare is the right amount. That is always the question. How much is the right amount? And I think that America should stay competitive with the other countries in the world by saying you can move here and pay less taxes, because we're all about innovation, we're all about business, we're all about letting the winners come here and win. I actually am happy to be in a country loaded with wealthy people. I'm happy to be living in this kind of country, because usually countries that don't have any wealthy people, sure, you've got equality, you're all equally poor. How do you like that? You all equally have no one paying the taxes. So I'm happy to be in a country full of wealthy people. And I want the rules to be fair for them. The rules should apply to everyone equally. But I don't want to tell them that they have to pay for my things. If that means wealth redistribution that is so high that they'd be better off moving to Scotland, right? That would be just not a good idea. Not a good way to run a government, in my opinion. I'm going to grab you by the face. Zeri fainted to a screeching Legiana? How do you faint? If only it was that easy. I know, right? If only it was that easy. Who got me talking about economics? You know, if you give me an opportunity to talk about economics, I'm going to take it and run. Oh, somebody healed me. What the heck? Where's everyone, by the way? Oh, I'm fighting the wrong guy. I'm so dumb. Wow, I can't believe nobody noticed that already. Wallace says, I miss my membership. I don't think we even need welfare once we fix the problems causing its usefulness. What? No, I think some welfare is necessary, always. For example, here's a great example of good welfare. Andrew Yang talks a lot about trucking jobs going away, and he's right, actually. Someday the trucking jobs will go away, and it will mean a big loss of jobs. And probably what we should have is a way to help people as they transition between being a trucker to being whatever the new thing they're going to be is. So basically what I'm saying is maybe like some welfare that will help people transition into a new job, because you don't want these people to miss a bunch of their house payments and go homeless just because one, burp in their career went wrong. You don't want people to just go homeless because of that. So yeah, some welfare is going to be clever and it's going to work. I think the question is to keep an eye on what works and what doesn't work, and to keep your taxes low enough that you're pulling in a lot of the talent in the world. We get a lot of people from India and China coming here. They're very smart. They do software engineering jobs, and it should always be that way because, they have a choice where to go. They could go to Australia, for example. We don't want them to go to Australia. We're in a competition with Australia. We're allies with Australia. Australians are great, but we're in a business competition. The world is fundamentally a competition. And if they're going to take the talent, that's going to be bad for us in the end. Oh, I just died. Wow, we got one life left. But you understand what I'm saying, right? So every time somebody chooses Australia rather than America, they go into Australia and they pay taxes their whole life to a different country, working on a business that belongs to a different country. So it is about being able to have talent in your country and keep talent in your country. And we can't ignore the fact that they make a choice at some point to leave India. They make a choice at some point to leave China, to come over here, to immigrate over here. And they have to decide, well, where am I going to have a better quality of life? And if that question ends up being answered by moving to Australia, then there's a serious problem, and we have to consider how to fix that. And I think people who are coming from like India and China, I think a lot of the times they actually do understand how taxes will affect their life. You know what I mean? Because they tend to be very competitive.
Run like the wind. DC, we like talking about it too.
Whoa, 420, run like the wind. We like talking about it too. What? I don't know what you're saying there. Let's see. Who made that donation? I missed that. My computer's too quiet. 420. 420. Blaze it. King of Ghost. There we go. It's the King of Ghost. Let me update the name. I just want my country to remain competitive. That is the most important thing. And being competitive might be offering more social programs, but I deeply question that. I deeply question that. Gameconomist, what do you think about drug testing people on welfare? I heard about it and I got all self-righteous at first. I was like, we shouldn't give them money because they're just going to go on to drugs, right? And I think I understand that position because it's a little bit true, actually. It's not just drugs, though. It's just in general. What happens is this. People who end up needing welfare, these are often people who have a very toxic relationship to money. They have a very toxic relationship with it. It doesn't matter how much money you give these guys. They're probably most of the time not going to spend it in a smart way. So you're trying to make the smartest decisions with your money to help them without just having them waste a bunch of money. Let me give you a great example. Let's say you have somebody addicted to gambling. You can't test for that really, but let's say you have somebody addicted to gambling and they're on welfare. And what they do is they use the welfare to subsidize their gambling addiction. And what that means is they do earn a little bit of cash, but they use their cash to gamble. And then they use your cash to pay for their food and their rent. And you're like, that's not fair. And you're right, it's not fair. Because you don't gamble, you make smart moves with your money. You invest it and you don't go gambling or anything, right? So why should you be paying for their stuff? Which is, again, always at the very heart of wealth redistribution. People understand that it's not, you fundamentally understand that. You're not a big fan of that, right? Like, it doesn't make you all happy to pay for somebody else's gambling addiction. But at the same time, when you're talking about welfare, the people who need it are often people with this addiction. So it's difficult. It's funny, the easiest thing to do would be to simply move to a country of people who don't have gambling addictions. Easy. Just find a group that doesn't have a lot of drug addicts and doesn't have a lot of... See, you just go to a place with high quality people in it and the need for socialism suddenly dies down. Isn't that interesting? And then if you were to take your country and load it up with people who need all kinds of help, they need tons of your money, all of a sudden socialism doesn't work because it's so expensive to pay for all of them and all of their addictions and all of their problems. It becomes so expensive that the people actually paying for all this, they go, I don't want to pay for this anymore. This is too much, and this other place right next door charges me less. This other country right next door charges me less taxes. And so I'm just going to move over there. And you have like this downward spiral, I feel like. You have like this brain drain problem that occurs at that point. And that's what you need to avoid. And so the question is, how do you stop this problem from occurring? Do you just take the welfare away? And that is the very complicated question that we don't know the answer to. Just like we don't know the answer to the gun problem, right? The gun problem presents itself. We could just take everyone's guns away. None of the conservatives want that, obviously. They want the ability to own guns because they believe that's their right. And, if they really believed that was their right, fundamentally they should be willing to kill somebody in the government before the government takes their guns. That's the whole trick to that belief. Is like, okay, well, if somebody comes for your guns and you really believe in the founding fathers, then your job is to shoot that person when they come for your guns, right? And that's why that law is so tricky. It's so hard to get people out of it, because it does give them power. That was the whole point of it. Similarly with welfare, we could question, how do we save people? How do we get people to give up their addictions, give up their toxic beliefs about money, about what works and what doesn't work? How do we get them to just be high quality people? How do we stop mass shooters? Great question. If you had the answer, let me know. It's just like, you hope you don't live next to one. That would work instantly. If you didn't live next to a mass shooter, that would work instantly. But that's something that they kind of have to choose, you know? The mass shooter has to choose not to commit a mass shooting. No amount of government's going to necessarily change that. It's almost like, on the contrary, you can't, the whole point is you discover somebody who is set on doing a mass shooting can't be controlled. That's one of the things you learn. And it's one of the reasons why I believe that humans are able to make choices. Yeah, some people don't believe humans are capable of making choices. Education is probably the best solution. I don't know about that, man. I was homeschooled, and my homeschooling was garbage. And I did eventually get my education in college, but it was actually all the time before I went to college that I was most at risk of committing a crime, and I just chose not to commit a crime because I knew it was wrong. I knew it was wrong. I knew that, you know, even if I felt like it, even if I didn't believe it was wrong, I had a certain belief that I didn't want to ruin my entire career by committing one stupid crime that didn't actually matter too much. Like, it's not, you know, stealing something from somebody, is that really going to help me in the long run? What's going to help me more? Stealing $200 maybe, or getting a career that pays $80,000 a year every year for 30 years? So it's an easy equation. You just go, yeah, the job. The job's way better than this thing I want to do right now. Long-term thinking, long-term thinking. And it's, I don't think my education would have helped me with that. I just happened to be that way. And, you know, and I ended up making that choice not to commit any crimes. And there were opportunities for me. I mean, I was in really desperate situations for money, especially money and food, and, you know, every dollar counted. And it was scary because if I failed, I didn't know anything about government programs, and my parents weren't there to help at all, right? I had no family, and I just kind of had to make the right choices, and that was it. Just kind of cut loose, you know, just succeed or be in a really crappy situation. Oh, snap. But yeah, it's, how do you get people to just be good? It's an interesting question. And I think that my expectations of people is that they will trend toward being worse, actually, before maybe they get better. But I think that society is learning that they don't have to follow religion. I think that's the main change that we see. Remember, with the talk about gun control, man, I'm about to lose us this whole thing. Good heals, actually. So with the issue on the gun control, wait, what was I talking about? Oh, I was talking about how people are realizing they don't actually have to be religious. That's what people are realizing. And so I feel like that's actually the bigger trend you'll see over time. You'll see a few trends where people decide not to have children, and then some very religious people will. You'll see a trend where people just become immoral, essentially. There's no reason to be moral anymore. There's no social benefit to being moral anymore. There's no religious pressure to be moral anymore. Those are my predictions. Wallace saying he's going to sleep now. It is 2 a.m. in the morning, man. Yeah, it's late. Aaron Light says, I have no idea what's homeschooling since my country has mandatory 15 years of education and everyone chooses public school or private ones. So homeschooling is when your parent tries to give you the same education that a school would have given you, and then some parents actually do this very well, and some parents do not do very well at this, which is something you often don't talk about. If you're a homeschooler family, all you do typically is talk about how great you are, but actually many homeschool families do a very poor job of educating their children, as you would expect, with exceptions. Some children are just very gifted and they don't need a public school system. They actually will just teach themselves things on their own. Dante says humans are a problematic species creating their own environments with toxic behaviors and beliefs. Yeah, there's a lot of fancy words. I just say that humans are part of nature, and we're trying to survive, and we're trying to have good feelings, and those feelings primarily come from instinct. Sexuality comes from instinct. Hunger comes from instinct. Dopamine, right? So you're driven to certain behaviors. And we form these societies and try to control people who are uncivilized so that we can live in a civil society where you get to have good sex and good food. Simple as that. And we are problematic species because you have a problem when you run into people who have no self-control. That's the biggest problem. And there's this great philosophical debate over whether you can even have self-control. I think you can. I think you can have self-control, and that belief comes down to the realization that if you want to commit a mass shooting, you will. Your government can't stop you from committing a mass shooting. You'll just get away with it. Well, you'll kill yourself, but you can make that choice. Nobody can stop you, right? So this is a part of the reason that I'm believing that people have free will. Free will, the ability to make choice. There's some philosophical arguments that we don't have free will. How's it going, Angus Chen? Thanks for reading my comment. No problem. Savage says, I did distance education. I turned to it after my asthma didn't allow me to go to a mainstream school, and honestly, I learned a lot more and felt a lot more comfortable at distance education. Yeah, actually, we were talking about that in one of our streams. We were talking about how in public school in America, apparently I wasn't public schooled, so I was kind of learning from you guys, and you guys were telling me how it's mostly a social experience. It's not really as much about the education as much as it is about getting to meet people. And I was like, what? Because my belief was always that public education was good because it's primarily there to teach you how to do math and because those were the things I didn't learn when I was homeschooled. I didn't learn those things. And when I was in college, I kind of wished that I had, that it was, but people were saying the bigger emphasis is who gets to go to prom and who do you get to have sex with at a young age and blah, blah, blah. And I was hearing that and I was just thinking, that's a nightmare. Imagine having your kid trapped with like somebody else's unruly, uncivilized jerk kid. And I was like, I wouldn't want that for my kid. I'd just, especially if your kid's sensitive and intelligent, which hopefully he or she is an intelligent and articulate person, you would want them to be able to focus on their studies and not have to worry about the social pressures or having sex or being bullied. It's just, I suppose I didn't have the experience of the public school, but I was curious whether or not it's a good experience or a bad experience. All right, so what are we doing? We're farming for decorations. Let's see if anyone's posted a good quest. You guys getting tired of the longsword? I'm getting tired of the longsword. One faint capture bracadillos. I better be careful. Angus says, I'm 19 and I haven't had the booty. Can I blastnut myself? Don't do it. I don't recommend it. It'll happen. Maybe. I wonder who doesn't have sex in life. Somebody probably doesn't have sex in life. I guess priests aren't supposed to have sex, right? But they actually, I guess they do end up doing that, some of them. And then you hear about it in the news. All right, feline safeguard. Chris says, in my experience, high school was getting to know insanely talented AP students and trying to emulate them. Really good experience for me. Well, there you go. So it sounds like some people do actually have a good public school experience. All I know is I was homeschooled. Yeah, I was homeschooled. My mom primarily focused on trying to get me to read like essays and stuff like that written by the popes because my mom was very religious. We had the education was fairly good at teaching you to speak and to write. Well, not speak, but to write and to argue. And learning to speak just kind of occurred naturally because when you have so many siblings, you do a great deal of talking. You do a great deal of talking in a large family. Phenomenon says, when you want to get into the quest, but the delay makes it impossible. Did you guys know hanging was supposed to break your neck and not asphyxiate you? Yeah, that's pretty wild, right? So what they would do actually is they would measure the length of the rope against your weight as a person, like how heavy you were, so that the rope wouldn't break either, and so that the rope wouldn't behead you. So there's a bit of physics involved when it comes to hanging a person. They had to know how far do you drop to break the neck without completely pulling the head off of the body, because if you fell too far, you'd be beheaded. Isn't that wild? Some wild information. All right, what did we already eat? Yeah, we had the safeguard, didn't we? Diablo 4 is in the making. Nice. I've never played it. I wonder how one could break his own neck. Break a neck? Driving too fast and then getting in a car wreck. You'll break your neck easy. That's why we have airbags. Oh, it's waiting for me to ready up. I'm sorry, guys. Yo Jimbo says, did you pick to be homeschooled or was that your only option? It was definitely my only option. My parents forced it on me. I had no outside world perspective, so I did not know what I was missing. And I was told, you know, the outside world is bad because people are like sinners or something like that. Very religious parents. My mom especially. My dad, he didn't seem as religious as my mom, but my mom was very religious. And yeah, it's like, oh, don't mix with the sinners. Oh, don't let them lead you away from the Catholic Church and all that stuff. And it just didn't work, actually. Oh, no. You know what? I'm actually just going to return. So from now on, when we're doing Elder's Recess, so I'm joining somebody else's quest. What I'm going to recommend is you only launch with 3 people, and then you can have the 4th person join after we've launched. That was a loss. We're not going to do that again. Last time we did that with Tempered Urgon, and we didn't even beat them. I absolutely blame my parents for homeschooling me. I think that homeschooling was a large mistake. But the thing is, I've met other homeschoolers that had a great deal of success. So homeschooling's like a gamble, and the gamble is how competent are your parents? And I don't think my mom should have been teaching us. She didn't even have a college education. So why would she? It's just a bad idea. Like, well, you know what? Let me say this. So if my mom taught us homeschooling all the way through, let's say, like middle school, you know, to the age of about 12 maybe, I think she would have actually done a good job. Yeah, up to the age of 12, she's a fairly decent teacher. After the age of 12, where you actually have to learn things before going into college, she's very bad. She doesn't teach you anything good because she doesn't know it herself. So how's she supposed to teach it to you? What she does is she just hands you a book and says, go teach it, go learn it yourself. So up to the age of 12, she was actually pretty good, pretty decent. It was after the age of 12 and the years where you need to be getting ready to go to college that she was really bad. And that you just can't have that, you know. I guess you can. I mean, look, I graduated. So I guess you can have that. But I think I could have done better, basically. I think I could have done better in school. I don't know. Everything seemed to work out in the end anyways. What am I complaining about? Religious schools are a mistake. I realized that after I left. Yeah, religious schools, I don't know how to feel about them. A religious debate. Whose religion is right? That's what religion always just comes down to that. Typically, it's the religion teaching you, here's God is definitely real. It's definitely our God. And here are the rules you follow. Especially a few rules about having sex and telling your kids to believe the exact same thing and giving us money. That's religion in a nutshell. It's religion in a nutshell. Let's go ahead and have some items. Kind of upset some religious people in my stream right now. And then it's interesting because the religions that continue to exist are the religions that teach those primary things. Here's how to have sex to have more children. And also be sure to donate your money to us. So those are the primary rules that a religion must teach in order for it to exist in the future. And so the religions that do exist are the ones that teach you all of those things. Let's see what we got over here. Botanical research. Who doesn't love religion? Religion is an interesting thing, you know. You shouldn't be arrogant and hateful toward religions necessarily, because the truth is we don't really know where anything came from. That's the truth. Yeah, the people who get up all their booty holes about, oh yeah, we all came from the Big Bang. Yeah, they don't know. They have their theories, and I think when they get very scientific about it and they view it all, they see the human race, and it all seems to be an act of nature. And so I can understand how they take a look at a lot of religious tradition, and they say, this is nonsense. The religious tradition is clearly man-made, right? And I actually agree with them on that in that regard, but we actually still don't know where we came from. So there's still that problem as well. So it's probably important not to become too fundamentalist. I try to avoid fundamentalism. Do you guys avoid fundamentalism? Fundamentalism's not good. Fundamentalism, there's another word for it. It's called brainwashing. I try to avoid fundamentalism. What? I stabbed you in the tail. You didn't even notice me? There we go. Oh shoot, these guys are going to fight. Please have a turf war. No, they're not going to have a turf war. I'm going to grab the slinger bomb then. Yeah, there's another word for fundamentalism. Brainwashing and... I don't know. It's not always brainwashing. Sometimes you're just not flexible-minded enough to consider you could be wrong. You know what I mean? You could be wrong. It's important for you to be able to admit to yourself. Like, I could just be ignorant. The problem is you don't want to be in this situation where you never make a decision on a thing, you know? So if you're constantly what's the word? If you're constantly doubting yourself, too, that causes a problem of not committing to anything, you know what I mean? So there has to be a point where you say, all right, well, these are the rules we are going to write, and these are the rules we're going to stick to. So there you can have a reverse problem where there's not enough structure in your society. You have to have some structure, like don't murder people. So that's an easy one. That's an easy one. Everyone agrees on that one, fundamentally. Stab you in the legs. Man, I could talk all day, guys. You guys think I'm even a little bit tired of talking? Frick no, I could talk for like another 10 hours. I could talk for 24 hours straight. Are you kidding me? Easy. Easy. We're gonna start talking and writing a book at the same time. Get some real work done. None of this I'm playing video games kind of work. Brrr. We're in a simulation, baby. That's right, it's the Matrix. Do you want to be clown pilled or... I don't know all the pills. There's so many pills now, right? Oh, hold on. Prove it. Religions are instruments to control the masses. Now, I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, but religions are very concerned around organizing societies. But saying that they're there to control the masses assumes that they're not there to actually provide you a belief about the existence of, or the creation of the universe. Religions are often very concerned with that, and again, I'm just saying we don't actually know. See what I'm saying? No matter how smart you are scientifically, in the end, we don't have real evidence for what happened with the universe. We have only theories. And you shouldn't be too arrogant, because your arrogance will let you say, well, the theories are the answer. And it's funny though, because your theory requires as much faith as actually being religious. And that's the pitfall. You don't realize you are a person of faith now. It's just a scientific faith, which you could argue is more rational, and that's fine, but it's still faith. Come on, Glavinus, give me that booty. That booty to hootie. After you are out of the religion, tells your family they can't talk to you anymore because you are a sinner and you're going to be killed by God. That's right. That's exactly right, actually. Religion's an extremely social... what's the word? It's basically like a social law, almost. And in most countries, we don't literally enforce religion, but some countries do, actually. It's usually a Middle Eastern country will enforce actual Islamic law. It'll be codified in the government. It'll be like, you cannot blaspheme Allah, or something like that, right? And it's funny, they probably don't even know what it's like to live in a society where you have the freedom to just kind of have your own religion. It's weird, because it's all we know. All we know is what that life is like, and they've never experienced it before, probably. Shoop. Let's chop this tail off. I refuse to go to bed until I get into one of these quests, says Phenomenon. I don't trust religion because it was writing in a time where the language barrier was complicated, especially when all religions have to... Okay, so what you're touching on this problem of translating the will of God, right? So you're talking about, you get these holy guys, and they're like, here's what God definitely wanted. And what you're saying is, yeah, but you're concluding that by reading a book that was written in a time where the language might have meant something very different. And there's people who dedicate their life to just trying to figure out what the language probably meant. But it's funny because it ironically kind of shows you how subjective our beliefs are, right? So one of the main tenets of religion, one of the reasons why religion works so well is because it's supposedly objective, this objective morality. But it's funny because it's always a interpretation by somebody reading God's will, the book, right? And this interpretation is always a manly interpretation, right? It's a man-made, interpretation. So it's funny, by its nature, it too is always subjective, just like society. When you say, I'm living my truth, he's living his truth. We all know that there's no such thing as his truth. We know that there's the truth. And when you say his truth, her truth, what you're talking about is subjectivist truth. And religions are like, yes, but we have objective truth. No, it's more like you have a large group of people that have agreed to what objective truth is, but this is not necessarily making it actually objective. So it's always in this nature of never truly knowing. Grab you by the tail, booty. Alright, let's go ahead and stab him now. Our religion is not from the Roman Catholic Church, though. That's true. After you are out of the religion... Oh, I already read that one. Cheese Man says, damn, that's dep. We're getting pretty dep over here, guys. Come on, Glabinus. Look at this guy. He's a sinner. We're going to have to teach him to repent. He's going to have to repent for his Monster Hunter sins. Look at this. We get some Kelly material over here. Wow, we're moving through all the subjects today, aren't we? We're talking about religion. How'd you guys get me on that? I'd probably get myself on these subjects. I just like to talk, honestly. What they say about family, you're not supposed to talk about money, religion, or politics, and that's like all we talk about. Probably losing all my subs. They're all like, fuck, frick you, Gameconomist. Somebody shares their political ideas. Oh, snap! And we're gonna... Oh. I just think in 2019... I'm not... I've thought about never talking about politics, religion, money, or any of those things because they're considered controversial subjects that I could lose subscribers over. But I also feel that in 2019 that people actually do want to have these conversations, and I think that people actually want to have very honest conversations because I suspect people realize when they're just being propagandized to. I don't know if that's even a word, but you know, when you hear like some political statement from a politician, you can often hear that they very carefully make sure that it's a politically correct statement, that it's what they believe is politically moral. There's like this new political moralism. It's so weird. It's like being in the government isn't just about doing what works. It's about making sure that you're getting people to agree with you with the part of their brain that deals with morality. Like, do you morally agree with this? That's what politics today has become. And it's like, I feel like people are dying to hear like honest conversations about difficult subjects that everyone's dancing around. And some people, there's some people who are probably, you know, they're never going to be open to talking about it. And then I think there's the people that are much more open to talking about it, and they're probably have a few IQ cells in their brain more than the other group. That's right, see? I get to make fun of people. It's mostly because too many people commit morally wrong acts in the name of their religion throughout time. Oh, that's a part of the conversation I missed. Inferno Turk says, love your videos. Thank you for all the content. No problem, man. Thank you for the nice comment. Oliver Sendal says, if people say it's 2019 freedom of speech, then we should be able to talk about controversial things. What? Let's go ahead and fill these up. We got some carved face stones. Let's see if we got anything good. Dragon Resistance, Dragon Jewel, Gobbler Evasion, Guardian Expert, Frost, and Satiated. So I think I said that I was going to stream for 3 hours, and I'm feeling in my gut that it's about 3 hours. Where are we at? Oh, we're at 4 hours. We're doing well. So I think now's a good time to naturally wrap the stream up. What do you guys think? What do we do in the stream? We got a whole bunch of charms set up. We're trying to get to Master Rank 70, which is what we've been working on. We're not quite there, but we are ready to just grind up some monsters, get to 70, and get into the Guiding Lands. And when we get there, we're going to farm up the materials we need to upgrade those charms. Russell says, that's why long-form conversations are becoming really popular. Are they? Is that like, what is that, like Joe Rogan talking to somebody? I don't know what you mean by that. But I agree. I think that people today are very quickly educated on places like YouTube. You can absorb a lot of complicated ideas very quickly by somebody who's capable of talking about them. And I think people crave an opportunity to think about these issues because it helps them, decide what they want out of life or decide what's important. Right? All right. So what? 4 hours of streaming, probably about 3 hours of talking about philosophy, religion, welfare. Why don't I go ahead and do the kabuki? We like the kabuki. I used to wave. Now I kabuki. Here we are. Hua. 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 All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for all the donations. There were some really nice donations this time. Thank you for everyone who's a patron. And I hope you guys enjoyed our conversation. If you didn't, you can tell me I'm a jerk. That's fine. Yeah, I don't know. I've done a lot of political talking lately. I wonder if it's too much. We got to get this character grinded up, though. I feel like when Capcom finally releases a really tough monster, we won't be able to talk about politics because we'll need our brain power for actually fighting the monster. One of the problems is we have a lot of leftover brain power because these fights are too easy, right? These fights are too grindy. So hopefully in the future, the monsters are real tough, and the only thing we'll be able to talk about are the monsters, right? Look at that I gotta learn how to do that in the real world. I can't dance like that. Look at those moves. Damn. This guy's probably knee-deep in ambitious fourth. Ambitious. I bet she's ambitious. All right. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.